and of course, does everybody know that this was the play that destroyed the globe?
Yeah, I heard that story. Yeah,
we all know about the cannon, right?
The cannon started the fire. Yeah,
the things people will do to that spice things up. So here we go. Henry VIII by William Shakespeare et al. Enter prologue.
I come no more to make you laugh. Things now that bear a weighty and a serious brow, sad, high and working, full of state and woe, such noble scenes as draw the eye to flow, we now present. Those that can pity here may, if they think it well, let fall a tear. The subject will deserve it. Such as give their money out of hope they may believe, may here find truth too. Those that come to see only a show or two, and so agree, the play may pass. If they be still and willing, I'll undertake, may see away their shillings richly in 2 short hours. Only they that come to hear a merry bawdy play, a noise of targets, or to see a fellow in a long motley coat guarded with yellow, will be deceived. For gentle hearers know, to rank our chosen truth with such a show, as fool and fight is, decide for fitting our own brains, and the opinion that we bring, to make that only true we now intend, will leave us never an understanding friend. Therefore, for goodness sake, and as you are known, the first and happiest hearers of this town, be sad as we would make ye. Think ye see the very persons of our noble story, as they were living. Think you see them great, and followed with a general throng and sweat of 1,000 friends. Then, in a moment see, how soon this mightiest meets misery. And if you can be merry then, I'll say, a man may weep upon his wedding day.
Act 1. Scene 1. Enter Duke of Norfolk, Act 1, Duke of Buckingham, and Lord Abergavenny.
Hello, and well met. How have you done since last we saw in France?
I thank you, Grace. Healthful, and even ever since a fresh admirer of what I saw there.
An untimely ague stayed me a prisoner in my chamber when those sons of glory, those 2 lights of men, met in the Vale of Andren.
Twixt Gines and Andre, I was then present. Saw them salute on horseback. Beheld them when they lighted. How they clung in their embracements as they grew together. Which what 4 throned ones could have weighed such a compounded one?
All the whole time I was in my chamber's prisoner.
Then you lost the view of earthly glory, men might say, till this time pomp was single, but now married to one above itself, each following day, become the next day's master, till the last made former wonders its. Today the French all colloquant, all in gold, like the heathen gods, shone down the English and tomorrow they made Britain India. Every man that stood showed all like a mine. Their dwarfish pages were as cherubims, all gilt. The madams too, not used to toil, did almost sweat to bear the pride upon them that their very labor was to them as a painting. Now this mask was carried incomparable, and in the ensuing night made it a fool and beggar. The 2 kings equal in luster were now best, now worst, as presence did present them, him and I till still him in pause, and being present both, 'twas said they saw but one, and no discerner durst wag his tongue in censure. When these sums, for so they Phrasen, by their heralds, challenged the noble spirits to arms. They did perform beyond the thought's compass. That former fabulous story being now seen, possible enough got credit. That Beavis was believed.
Oh, you go far.
As I belong to worship, and in effect and honor honesty to the tract of everything would by a good discurser lose some life which action self was tongue to all was royal. To the disposing of it naught rebelled. Order gave each thing view. The office did distinctly his full function.
Who did guide? Who set the body and the limbs of this great sport together, as you guess?
One, Kratos that promises no element in such a business.
I pray you, who, my lord?
All this was ordered by the good discretion of the Right Reverend Cardinal of York.
The devil speed him. No man's spy is freed from his ambitious finger. What had he to do in these fierce vanities? I wonder that such a keech can, with his very bulk, take up the race of the beneficial sun and keep it from the earth.
Surely, sir. There's in him stuff that puts him in these ends, for being not propped by ancestry, whose grace shocks successors their way, nor called upon for high feats done to the crown, neither allied to eminent assistance, but spider-like. Out of this self-drawing web, he gives us note. The force of his crown merit makes his way, a gift that heaven gives to him, which buys a place next to the king.
Well, I cannot tell what heaven hath given him. Some graver eye pierce into that. But I can see his pride peep through each part of him. Whence has he that? If not from hell, the devil is a niggard, or has given all before, and he begins a new hell in himself.
Why the devil, upon this French going out, took he upon him without the privity of the king to appoint who should attend on him? He makes up the file of all the gentry, for the most part such to whom as great a charge, little honor he meant to lay upon. And his own letter, the honorable board of council out, must fetch him in his papers.
I do not know. Kinsmen of mine, 3 at the least, that have by this so sickened their estates that never they shall abound as formerly.
Oh, many have broke their backs with laying manners on them for this great journey. What did this vanity but minister communication of a most poor issue?
Grievingly, I think, the peace between the French and us not values the cost that did conclude it.
Every man, after the hideous storm that followed, was a think inspired, and not consulting, broke into a general prophecy, that this tempest, dashing the garment of this peace, abolded the sudden breach in it.
Which is butted out. For France hath flawed the league and hath attached our merchants' goods at Bordeaux.
Monsieur, therefore, the ambassador is silenced.
There is
The proper title of a piece, and purchased at a superfluous rate.
Why, all this business our reverend cardinal carried.
like it, your grace, the state takes notice of the private difference betwixt you and the cardinal. I advise you and take it from that wishes towards you honor and plenty that you need the cardinal's malice and his potency together to consider further that what his high hatred would effect once to a minister in his power. You know his nature, that he's revengeful, and I know his sword hath a sharp edge. It's long, and it may be said it reaches far, and were 'twill not extended, thither he darts it. Bosom up my counsel, you'll find it wholesome. Lo, where comes that rock that I advise your shunning? After Cardinal Wolsey, first born before him, certain of the guard and 2 secretaries with papers. Cardinal, in his package, fixeth his eye on Buckingham, and Buckingham on him, both full of disdain.
The Duke of Buckingham surveyor, huh? Where's his examination?
Here, so please you.
Is he in person ready?
Aye, please your grace.
Well, we shall then know more, and Buckingham shall lessen this big look.
His butcher's cur is venom mounted, and I have not the power to muzzle him. Therefore, best not wake him in his slumber. A beggar's book, outwards a noble's blood.
What? Are you chafed? Ask God for temperance. That's the appliance only which your disease requires.
Aran's looks matter against me, and his eyes reviled me as his abject object. At this instant he bores me with some trick. He's gone to the king. I'll follow and outstare him.
Stay, my lord, and let your reason with your choler question what 'tis you go about it. To climb steep hills requires slow pace at first. Anger is like a full hot horse who, being allowed his way, self-mettle tires him. Not a man in England can advise me like you. Be to yourself as you would to your friend.
Out to the king, and from a mouth of foreigner quite cried down, this Ipswich fellow's insolence, or proclaim there's difference in no persons.
Be advised, heat not a furnace, for your foe is hot. That it do single yourself, we may outrun by violent swiftness that which we run at, and lose by overrunning. Know you not the fire that mounts the liquor, till run o'er, it seeming to augment it wastes it. Be advised, I say again, there is no English soul more stronger to direct you than yourself. If with the sap of reason you would quench or but allay the fire of passion.
Sir, I am thankful to you, and I'll go along by your prescription. But this top-proud fellow, whom from the flow of gall I name not, but from sincere motions, intelligence, and proofs as clear as founts in July, when we see each grain of gravel, I do know to be corrupt and treasonous.
Say not treasonous.
To the king I'll say it, and make my vouchers strong as shore of rock. Attend, this holy fox, or wolf, or both, for he is equal ravenous as he is subtle, and as prone to mischief as able to perform it, his mind and peace infecting one another, yea, reciprocally, only to show his pomp as well in France as here at home, suggests the king our master to this last costly treaty, the interview, that swallowed so much treasure, and like a glass did break it in the rising.
Faith, and so it did.
Pray give me favor, sir. This cunning cardinal the articles of the combination drew as himself pleased, and they were ratified as he cried, thus let be, to as much end as give a crutch to the dead. But our Count Cardinal has done this, and this wealth were to Wolsey, who cannot err, he did it. Now this follows, which, as I take it, is a kind of puppy to the old damned treason. Charles the Emperor, under pretense to see the Queen his aunt, for it was indeed his color, but he came to whisper Wolsey, here makes visitation. His fears were that the interview betwixt England and France might though their amity, and through their amity breed him some prejudice, for from this league peeped harms that menaced him. Privily deals with our cardinal, and as I trow, which I do well, for I am sure the emperor paid ere he promised, whereby his suit was granted, ere it was asked. But when the way was made and paved with gold, the emperor thus desired that he would please to alter the king's course and break the forced peace. Let the king know, as soon he shall by me, that thus the cardinal does buy and sell his honor as he pleases, and for his own advantage.
I am sorry to hear this of him, and could wish he were something mistaken in it.
No, not a syllable. I do pronounce him in that very shape. He shall appear in proof.
Enter Brandon, sergeant at arms, before him, and 2 or 3 of the guard.
Your office, Sergeant. Execute it. Sir, my lord the Duke of Buckingham and Earl of Hertford, Stafford, and Northampton, I arrest high treason in the name of our most sovereign king.
Lo you, my lord, the net has fallen upon me. I shall perish under device and practice.
I am sorry to see you tamed from liberty. To look on the business precinct. 'Tis his highness' pleasure you shall to the tower.
It will help me nothing to plead mine innocence, for that dies on me which makes my wits part black. The will of heaven be done in this and all things. I obey. Oh, my lord, Abergavenny, fare you well.
Nay, he must bear you company. The king is pleased you shall to the tower till you know how he determines further.
As the Duke said, the will of heaven be done, and the king's pleasure by me obeyed.
Here's a warrant from the king, the attached Lord Montacute, and the bodies of the Duke's confessor John de la Carr, one Gilbert Peck, his counselor.
So, these are the limbs of the plot. No more, I hope.
A monk of the Charute.
Oh, Michael Hopkins?
He,
My surveyor is false. The overgreat cardinal had showed him gold. My life is spent already. I am the shadow of poor Buckingham, whose figure even this instant cloud puts on by darkening my clear sun. My lord, farewell.
They exit. Scene 2, comments. Enter Enter the king leaning in on the cardinal's shoulder with nobles, St. Thomas Lovell, and attendants including secretary of the cardinal. Cardinal placed himself under the king's feet, his right side.
My life itself, and the best heart of it, thanks you for this great care. I stood in the level of full charge battery, and thanks to that chalked it. Let me call before us the gentleman of Buckingham's in person. I'll hear him in his confession justify, and point by point the treasons of his master he shall again relate.
ah!
Nay, we must longer kneel. I am a suitor.
Arise, and take place by us. Half your suit never named to us. You have half our power. The other moiety, ere you ask, is given. Repeat your will, and take it.
Thank your majesty. That you would love yourself, and in that love, not unconsidered, leave your honor nor the dignity of your office, is the point of my petition.
Lady mine, proceed.
I am solicited not by a few, and those of true condition, that your subjects are in great grievance. There have been commissions sent down among them which hath flowed the heart of all their loyalties, wherein, although my good Lord Cardinal, they vent reproaches bitterly on you, as putter on of these exactions, yet the King, our master, whose honor heaven shield from soil, even he escapes not language unmannerly, yea, such which breaks the sides of loyalty and almost appears in loud rebellion.
Not almost appears. It doth appear. For upon these taxations, the clerks all, not able to maintain, the many to them longing, have put off the spinsters, carders, fullers, weavers, who, unfit for other life, compelled by hunger and lack of other means to desperate manner, daring the event to the teeth, are all in uproar, and danger serves among them.
Taxation? Wherein? And what taxation? My lord Cardinal, you that are blamed for it alike with us, know you of this taxation?
Please you, sir, I know but of a single part, in aught pertains to the state, and front but in that file where others tell steps with me.
No, my lord, you know no more than others, but you frame these things that are known alike, which are not wholesome to those which would not know them, and yet must perforce be their acquaintance. These exactions, whereof my sovereign would have known, they are most pestilent to the hearing, and to bear them, the back is sacrificed to the load. They say they are devised by you, or else you suffer too hard an exclamation.
Still exaction. The nature of it? In what kind, let's know, is this exaction?
I am much too venturous in tempting of your patience, but emboldened under your promised pardon. The subject's grief comes through commissions, which compels from each the sixth part of his substance to be levied without delay, and the pretense for this is named your wars in France. This makes bold mouths, tongues spit their duties out, and cold hearts freeze allegiance in them. Their curses now live where their prayers did, and it's come to pass this tractable obedience is a slave to each insensate will. I would your highness would give it quick consideration, for there is no crime or baseness.
By my life, this is against our pleasure.
And for me, I have no further gone in this than by a single voice, and that not past me, but by learned approbation of the judges. If I am traduced by ignorant tongues, which neither know my faculties nor person, yet will be the chronicles of my doing, let me say, 'tis but the fate of place, and the rough break that virtue must go through. We must not stint our necessary actions in the fear to cope malicious censures, whichever, as ravenous fishes, do a vessel follow that is new trimmed, but benefit no further than vainly longing. What we oft do best, by sick interpreters, once weak ones, is not ours, or not allowed. What worst, as oft, hitting a grosser quality, is cried up for our best act. If we shall stand still, in fear our motion will be mocked or carped at. We should take root here where we sit, or sit state statutes only.
Things done well and with care exempt themselves from fear. Things done without example in their issue are to be feared. Have you a precedent of this commission? I believe not any. We must not rent our subjects from our laws and stick them in our will. 6th part of each? A trembling contribution. Why? We take from every free lob, bark, on part of the timber, and though we leave it with the root, thus hack, the air will drink the sap. To every country where this is questioned, send our letters with free pardon to each man that has denied the force of this commission. Pray look to it. I put you in your care. Put it in your care.
A word with you. Let there be letters writ to every shire of the king's grace and pardon. The grieved commons hardly conceive of me. Let it be noised that through our intercession this revokement and pardon comes. I shall anon advise you further in the proceeding.
Enter Buckingham, the surveyor.
I am sorry that the Duke of Buckingham is run in your displeasure.
It grieves many. The gentleman is learned, the most best speaker. To nature none more bound. His training such that he may furnish and instruct teachers and never seek for aid out of himself. Yet see, when these so noble benefits shall prove not well disposed, the mind growing once corrupt, they turn so to vicious forms 10 times more ugly than ever they were fair. This man so complete, who was enrolled amongst wonders, and when we almost with ravished listening could not find his hour of speech a minute, he, my lady, had into monstrous habits put the graces that once were his, and is become as black as it besmeared in hell. Sit by us. You shall hear. This was his gentleman in trust. Of him, things to strike honor said. Bid him recount the four recited practices, whereof we cannot feel too little, hear too much.
Stand forth, and with bold spirit relate what you, most like a careful subject, have collected out of the Duke of Buckingham.
Speak freely.
First, it was usual with him every day, it would infect his speech, that if the king should without issue die, he'll carry it so to make the sceptre his. These very words I heard him utter to his son-in-law, Lord Abergavenny, to whom by oath he menaced revenge upon the cardinal.
Please, your highness, note this dangerous conception in this point. Not friended by his wish to your high person, his will is most malignant, and it stretches beyond you to your friends.
My learned Lord Cardinal, deliver all with charity.
Speak on. How grounded his title to the crown upon our fail? To this point, hast thou heard him at any time speak out?
He was brought to this by a vain prophecy of Nicholas Henton.
What was that Hampton?
Sir, a Chartreux friar, his confessor, who fed him every minute with words of sovereignty.
How knowest thou this?
Not long before your highness sped to France, the Duke, being at the Rose within the parish Saint Laurence Poultney, did of me demand what was the speech among the Londoners concerning the French journey. I replied, men fear the French would prove perfidious to the king's daughter. Presently the Duke said 'twas the fear indeed, and that he doubted 'twould prove the verity of certain words spoke by a holy monk, that oft, says he, hath sent to me, wishing me to permit Jean de la Carre, my chaplain, a choice hour, to hear from him a matter of some moment, whom, after under the confession seal, he solemnly had sworn that what he spoke, my chaplain to no creature living, but to me should utter, with demure confidence, thus pausingly ensued, neither the king nor his heirs tell you the Duke shall prosper. Bid him strive to gain the love of the commonalty. The Duke shall govern England.
If I know you well, you were the Duke's surveyor and lost your office on the complaint of the tenants. Take good heed, you charge not in your spleen a noble person and spoil your nobler soul. I say, take heed. Yes, heartily beseech you.
Let him on. Go forward.
On my soul, I'll speak the truth. I told my lord the Duke, by the devil's illusions, the monk might be deceived, and that 'twas dangerous for him to ruminate on this so far, and until it forged him to some design, which, being believed it was much like to do, he answered, "Cash, it can do me no damage." Adding further that had the king in his last sickness failed, the cardinal's and St. Thomas Lovell's heads should have come off.
Ah, what, so rank? Aha! There's mischief in this man. Canst thou say further?
Well, I can, my liege.
Proceed.
Being at Greenwich after your highness had reproved the Duke about Sir William Plummer,
I remember such a time, being my sworn servant, the Duke retained him his. But on, what hence?
If, quoth he, I for this had been committed as to the Tower, I thought I would have played the part my father meant to act upon the usurper Richard, who being at Salisbury made suit to come in's presence, which if granted, as he made semblance of his duty, would have put his knife into him.
A giant traitor.
Now, madam, may his highness live in freedom, and this man out of prison?
God mend all.
There's something more would out of thee. What sayst?
Well, after the Duke, his father, with the knife, he stretched him, and with one hand on his dagger, Another spread on his breast, mounting his eyes, he did discharge a horrible oath, whose tenor was, were he evil used, he would outgo his father by as much as a performance does an irresolute purpose.
There's his spirit, to sheath his knife in us. He is attached. Call him to present trial. If he may find mercy in the law, 'tis his. If none, let him not seek it of us. By day and night, it's a traitor to the height.
Scene 3, enter Lord Chamberlain and Lord Sands.
Is it possible the spells of France should juggle men into such strange mysteries?
New customs, though they be never so ridiculous, nay, let them be unmanly, yet are followed.
As far as I see, all the good our English have got by the late voyage is but merely a fit or two of the face. But they are shrewd ones, for when they hold 'em, you would swear directly their very noses had been counselors to Pepin or Clotharius. They keep state so.
They have on new legs and lame ones. One would take it that never seen them pace before. The spaven or springhawk reign among them.
Death, my lord. Their clothes are after such a pagan cut, too. That's sure they've worn out Christendom. How now? What news, Sir Thomas Lovell?
Faith, my lord, I hear of none but the new proclamation that's clapped upon the court gate.
What's it for?
The reformation of our travelled gallants that fill the court with quarrels, talk, and tailors.
I'm glad 'tis there. Now I would pray our messieurs to think an English courtier may be wise and never see the Louvre.
They must either, for so run the conditions, leave those remnants of fool and feather that they got in France, with all their honorable points of ignorance pertaining thereunto, as fights and fireworks, abusing better men than they can be out of a foreign wisdom, renouncing clean the faith they have in tennis and tall stockings, short blistered breeches, and those types of travel, and understand again like honest men, or pack to their old playfellows. There, I take it, they may cum privilegio we away, the lag end of their lewdness, and be laughed at.
This time to give them psychic. Their diseases are grown so catching.
What a loss our ladies will have of these trim vanities.
Ay, marry, there will be woe indeed, lords. The sly whoresons have got a speeding trick to lay down, ladies. A French song and a fiddle has no fellow.
The devil fiddled them. I am glad they are going, for sure there's no converting of them. Now, an honest country lord as I am, being a long time out of play, may bring his plain song, and have an hour of hearing, and by their lady, held current music too.
Well said, Lord Sands. Your colt's tooth is not cast yet.
No, my lord, no shall not while I have a stump.
Sir Thomas, whither were you a-going?
To the cardinals, your lordship is a guest too.
Oh, 'tis true. This night he makes a supper, and a great one, to many lords and ladies. There will be the beauty of this kingdom, I'll assure you.
That churchman bears a bounteous mind indeed, a hand as fruitful as the land that feeds us. His dews fall everywhere.
No doubt he's noble. He had a black mouth that said other of him.
He may, my lord, as withal in him, sparing would show a worse sin than ill doctrine. Men of his ways should be most liberal. They are set here for examples.
True, they are so. But few now give so great ones. My barge stays. Your lordship shall along. Come, good Sir Thomas, we shall be late else, which I would not be, for I was spoke to with Sir Henry Guildford this night to be brothers.
I am.
They exit. Scene 4. The hautboys, a small table under the state for the cardinal, a longer table for the guests. Enter Anne Boleyn and divers other ladies and guests at one door, and Sir Henry Guildford. Did I sign a Guildford? I don't think so. All right. Ladies, a general welcome from His Grace. Salutes you all. This night he dedicates. To fair contents, and you, none here, he hopes, in all the noble bevy has brought with her. Once care abroad, he would have all his memory of first good company, good wine, good welcome, can make good people. Enter Lord Chamberlain, Lord Sands, and Sir Thomas Lovell. Oh, my lord, you're tardy. The very thought of this fair company clapped wings on me.
You are young, Sir Harry Guildford.
Sir Thomas Lovell, at the Cardinal, but have my lay thoughts in him, some of these should find a running banquet. Ere they rested, I think would better please them. By my life, they are a sweet society of fair ones.
Oh, that your lordship were but now confessor to one or two of these.
I were. They should find easy penance.
Faith, how easy?
As easy as a down bed would afford it.
Sweet ladies, will it please you sit? Sir Harry, place you that side. I'll take the charge of this. His Grace is entering. Nay, you must not freeze. 2 women placed together make cold weather. But my Lord Sands, you are one will keep him walking. Pray, sit between these ladies.
By my faith, and thank your lordship, by your leave, sweet. If I chance to talk a little wild, forgive me. I had it from my father.
Was he mad, sir?
Oh, fairly mad. Exceedingly mad. In love, too. But he would bite none, just as I do now. He would kiss you 20 with a breath.
Well said, my lord. So now you're fairly seated. Gentlemen, the penance lies in you, if these fair ladies pass away frowning.
For my good cure, let me alone.
All the hot boys answer Cardinal Wolsey with attendance.
You're welcome, my fair guests. That noble lady or gentleman that is not freely merry is not my friend. This to confirm my welcome, and to you all, good health.
Your grace is noble. Let me have such a bowl may hold my thanks, and save me so much talking.
My Lord Sands, I am beholding to you. Cheer your neighbors. Ladies, you are not merry. Gentlemen, whose fault is this?
The red wine first must rise in their fair cheeks, my lord. Then we shall have them talk us to silence.
You are a merry gamester, my Lord Sands.
Well, yes, if I make my play, here's to your ladyship and pledge it, madam.
Thanks to her.
For 'tis to such a thing.
You cannot show me.
I told your grace they were talking on.
Drum and trumpet. Chamberlain discharged.
What's that?
Look out there, some of ye.
Servants exit.
What warlike voice, and to what end is this? Nay, ladies, fear not. By all the laws of war, you're privileged.
Enter a servant.
How now? What is't?
A noble troop of strangers, for so they seem, they left their barge in London, and hither make as great ambassadors for foreign princes.
Good Lord Chamberlain, go, give 'em welcome. You can speak the French tongue, and pray receive 'em nobly, and conduct 'em into our presence, where this heaven of beauty shall shine at full upon them. Some attend him.
Lord Chamberlain exits with attendants. All rise. Table removed.
You have now a broken banquet, but we'll mend it. A good digestion to you all, and once more I shower a welcome on ye. Welcome all.
Hot boys enter king and other maskers, habited like shepherds, ushered by the Lord Chamberlain. They pass directly before the cardinal and gracefully salute him.
A noble company. What are their pleasures?
Because they speak no English, thus they prayed, tell your grace, that having heard by fame of this so noble and so fair assembly, this night to meet here, they could do no less, out of the great respect they hear to beauty, but leave their flocks. And under your fair conduct, crave leave to view these ladies, and entreat an hour of revels with them.
Say, Lord Chamberlain, they have done my poor house grace, for which I pay 1,000 thanks, and pray 'em take their pleasures.
Masters choose ladies, king chooses them, fallen.
The fairest hand I ever touched. Oh, beauty, till now I never knew thee.
Music, dance.
My lord!
Your grace?
Pray, tell him thus much from me. There should be one amongst them, by his person, more worthy this place than myself, to whom, if I but knew him, with my love and duty I would surrender it.
I will, my lord.
What say they?
Such a one they all confess. There is indeed which they would have your grace find out, and he will take it.
Let me see then. By all your good leaves, gentlemen, here I'll make my royal choice.
You have found him, Cardinal. You hold a fair assembly. You do well, Lord. You are a churchman. I'll tell you, Cardinal. I should judge now unhappily.
I am glad your grace is grown so pleasant.
My Lord Chamberlain, pretty come hither. What fair lady is that?
And please your grace, Sir Thomas Boleyn's daughter, the Viscount Rochford, one of her highness women.
By heaven, she's a dainty one. Sweetheart, I were unmannerly to take you out and not to kiss you.
Then,
A health, gentlemen. Let it go round.
drinks a toast.
Sir Thomas Lavelle, is the banquet ready in the privy chamber?
Yes, my lord.
Your grace, I fear, with dancing is a little heated.
Fear too much.
There's fresher air, my lord, in the next chamber.
Lead in your ladies, everyone. Sweet partner, I must not ask yet forsake you. Let's be merry. My lord Cardinal, I have half a dozen healths to drink to these fair ladies, and a measure to lead them once again, and then let's dream who's best in favor. Let the music knock it.
They exit with trumpets. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter two gentlemen and enter two gentlemen.
Oh, whither away so fast?
Oh, God save you. E'en to the hall to hear what shall become of the great Duke of Buckingham.
Well, I'll save you that labour, sir. All's now done but the ceremony of bringing back the prisoner.
Were you there?
Indeed I was.
Pray, speak what has happened.
Oh, you may guess quickly what.
Is he found guilty?
Oh, yes, truly he is, and condemned upon.
I am sorry for it.
So are a number more.
But pray, how past it?
I'll tell you in a little. The great Duke came to the bar, where to his accusations he pleaded still not guilty, and alleged many sharp reasons to defeat the law. The king's attorney, on the contrary, urged on the examinations, proofs, confessions of divers witnesses, which the Duke desired to him brought viva voce to his face, and which appeared against him his surveyor, Sir Gilbert Peck, his chancellor, and John Carr, confessor to him, with that devil monk Hopkins that made this mischief.
That was he that fed him with these prophecies?
Oh, the same. All these accused him strongly, which he fain would have flung from him, but indeed he could not. And so his peers, upon this evidence, have found him guilty of high treason. Much he spoke, and learnedly, for life, but all was either pitied in him or forgotten.
After all this, how did he bear himself?
When he was brought again to the bar to hear his knell rung out, his judgment, he was stirred with such an agony, he sweated extremely, and something spoke in choler, ill and hasty. But he fell to himself again, and sweetly, in all the rest, showed a most noble patience.
I do not think he fears death.
Oh, sure he does not. He never was so womanish. The cause he may a little grieve at.
Certainly the cardinal is the end of this.
Oh, 'tis likely. By all conjectures, first Kildare's attainder, then Deputy of Ireland, who removed Earl of Surrey, was sent thither, and in haste too, lest he should help his father.
That trick of the state was a deep, envious one.
At his return, no doubt he will requite it. This is noted, and generally, whoever the king favours, the cardinals instantly will find employment, and far enough from court too.
All the commons hate him perniciously, and, oh my conscience, wish him 10 fathom deep. This duke as much they love and dote on, call him bounteous Buckingham, mirror of all courtesy.
Stay there, sir, and see the noble ruined man you speak of.
Enter Buckingham from his raiment, 6 slaves before him, the axe with the edge towards him, halberds on each. So, on each side, accompanied with Sir Thomas Lavelle, Sir Nicholas Law, Sir Walter Sands, and common people, etc.
Let's stand close and behold him.
Oh, good people, you that thus far have come to pity me, hear what I say, and then go home and lose me. I have this day received a traitor's judgment, and by the name must die. Yet heaven bear witness, and if I have a conscience, let it sink me, even as the axe falls, if I be not faithful. The law I bear no malice for my death. It has done upon the premises with justice, but those that sought it, I could wish more Christian. Be what they will, I heartily forgive them. Yet let them look their glory not in mischief, nor build their evils on the graves of great men. For then my guiltless blood must cry against them. For further life in this world I ne'er hope, nor will I sue, although the king have mercies. More than I dare make faults. You few that loved me, and dare be bold to weep for Buckingham, his noble friends and fellows, whom to live is only bitter to him, only dying. Go with me like good angels to my end, and as the long divorce still falls on me, make of your prayers one sweet sacrifice, and lift my soul to heaven. Lead on, in God's name.
I do beseech your grace for charity, if ever any malice in your heart were hid against me, now to forgive me frankly.
Sir Thomas Lovell, I as free forgive you as I would be forgiven. I forgive all. There cannot be those numberless offenses against me that I cannot take peace with. No black envy shall take my grave. Commend me to his grace. And if he speak of Buckingham, pray tell him you met him half in heaven. My vows and prayers yet are the king's, and, till my soul forsake, shall cry for blessing on him. May he live longer than I have time to tell his ears. Ever beloved and loving may his rule be, and when old time shall lead him to his end, goodness and he fill up one monument.
To the waterside I must conduct your grace, then give my charge up to Sir Nicholas Vaux, who undertakes you to your end.
Prepare there, the Duke is coming. See the barge be ready and fitted with such furniture as suits the greatness of his person.
Nay, Sir Nicholas, let it alone. My state now will but mock me. When I came hither, I was Lord High Constable and Duke of Buckingham. Now, poor Edward Bohun. Yet I am richer than my base accusers that never knew what truth meant. I now seal it, and with that blood will make him one day groan for it. My noble father, Henry of Buckingham, who first raised head against the usurping Richard, flying for succor to his servant Bannister, being distressed, was by that wretch betrayed, and without trial fell. God's peace be with him. Henry VII, succeeding, truly pitying my father's loss, like a most royal prince, restored me to my honors, and out of ruins made my name once more noble. Now his son, Henry VIII, life, honor, name, and all that made me happy at one stroke is taken forever from the world. I had my trial, and must needs say a noble one, which makes me a little happier than my wretched father. Yet, thus far, we are at one in fortunes. Both fell by our servants, by those men we loved most, a most unnatural and faithless service. Heaven has an end in all, yet you don't hear me. This from a dying man receives certain. Where your liberal of your lovers and counsels, be sure you be not lose, for those you make friends and give your hearts to, when they once perceive the least drop in your fortunes, fall away like water from you, never found again. But where they mean to sink you, all good people, pray for me. I must now forsake you. The last hour of my long, weary life is come upon me. Farewell. And when you would say something that it said, speak how I fell. I have done, and God forgive me.
Duke and his train exit.
Oh, it is full of pity, sir. It calls, I fear, too many curses on their heads that were the authors.
If the Duke be guiltless, 'tis full of woe. Yet I can give you inkling of an ensuing evil, if it fall, greater than this.
Good angels, keep it from us. What may it be? You do not doubt my faith, sir.
This secret is so weighty, 'twill require a strong faith to conceal it.
Well, let me have it. I do not talk much.
I am confident you shall, sir. Did you not of late days hear a buzzing of a separation between the king and Catherine?
Yes, but it held not. When the king once heard it, he, out of anger, he sent command to the Lord Magistrate to stop the rumour and delay those tongues that durst disperse it.
But that slander, sir, is found a truth now, for it grows again, fresher than ere it was, and held for certain the king will venture at it. Either the cardinal or some about him near have, out of malice to the good queen, possessed him with a scruple that will undo her. To confirm this too, Cardinal Campaign arrived, and lately as of for this business.
'Tis the cardinal, and merely to revenge him on the emperor for not bestowing on him at his asking the archbishopric of Toledo as he promised.
I think you have hit the mark. Is it not cruel that she should feel the smart of this? The cardinal will have his will, and she must fall.
'Tis woeful. We are too open here to argue this. Let's think in private more.
They exit. Scene 2. Enter Lord Chamberlain reading this letter.
My lord, the horses your lordship sent for, with all the care I had, I saw well chosen, ridden and furnished. They were young and handsome, and of the best breed in the north. When they were ready to set out for London, a man of my lord cardinal's, by commission and main power, took 'em from me, with this reason: his master would be served before a subject, if not before the king, which stopped our mouths, sir. I fear he will indeed. Well, let him have them. He will have all, I think.
Enter Lord Chamberlain, the Dukes of Norfolk and Suffolk. Well met, my Lord Chamberlain.
Good day to both your graces. How is the king employed? I left him in private, full of sad thoughts and troubles.
What's the cause?
It seems the marriage with his brother's wife has crept too near his conscience. No, his conscience has crept too near another lady.
Yes, so. This is the cardinal's doing, the king cardinal, that blind priest. that blind priest, like the eldest son of fortune, turns what he lists. The king will know him one day.
Pray God he do. He'll never know himself else.
How holily he works in all his business, and with what zeal. For now, he has cracked the league between us and the emperor, the queen's great nephew. He dives into the king's soul, and there scatters dangers, doubts, wringing of the conscience, fears and despairs, and all these for his marriage. And out of all these to restore the king, he counsels a divorce, a loss of her, that like a jewel has hung 20 years about his neck, yet never lost her luster. Of her that loves him with that excellence that angels love good men with, even for her, that when the greatest stroke of fortune falls, will bless the king, and is not this curse pious?
Heaven keep me from such counsel. 'Tis most true, these news are very rare. Every tongue speaks them, and every true heart weeps for it. All that dare look into these affairs see this main end, the French king's sister. Heaven will one day open the king's eyes, and so long have slept upon this bold bad man, and free us from this slavery.
And we need pray, and heartily of our deliverance. Or this imperious man will work us all, from princes into pages. All men's honors lie like one lump before him, to be fashioned into what pitch he pleased.
For me, my lords, I love him not, nor fear him. There's my creed, as I am made without him, so I'll stand, if the king please. His curses and his blessings touch me alike. Their breath I not believe in. Touch me alike, their breath. I knew him, and I know him. So I leave him to him, and made him proud, the Pope.
But him, and with some other business puts the king from these sad thoughts that work too much upon him. My lord, you'll bear us company?
Excuse me. The king has sent me otherwhere. Besides, you'll find a most unfit time to disturb him. Health to your lordships.
Thanks, my good Lord Chamberlain. Lord Chamberlain exits, and the king draws the curtain and sits reading pensively.
How sad he looks. Sure, he is much afflicted.
Who's there? Huh?
Who's there, huh?
Pray God, he be not angry.
Who's there, I say? How dare you trust yourself into my private meditations? Who am I, huh?
A gracious king that pardons all offenses. Malice ne'er meant our breach of duty. This way is business of estate, in which we come to know your royal pleasure.
You're too bold. Go to. I'll make you know your times of business. Is this an hour for temporal affairs, huh?
Enter Wolsey and yes, with commission.
Who's there? My good Lord Cardinal? Oh, my Lucy, the quiet of my wounded conscience. Thou art a cure fit for a king. You're welcome. Most learned reverend sir into our kingdom. Use us and eat. My good lord, have great care, I be not found a talker.
Sir, you cannot. I would your grace would give us but an hour of private conference.
We are busy. Go.
This priest has no pride in him?
This priest has no pride in him?
Not to speak of. I should not be so sick through for his place, but this cannot continue.
If it's due, it'll venture one have at him.
I another.
Norfolk and Suffolk exit.
Your grace has given a precedent of wisdom above all princes, in committing freely your scruple to the voice of Christendom. Who can be now? What envy reach you? Spaniard tied blood in favor to her must now confess, if they have any goodness, the trial just and noble. All the clerks, I mean the learned ones, in Christian kingdoms have their free voices. Rome, the nurse of judgment, invited by your noble self, hath sent one general tongue unto us, this good man, this just and learned priest, Cardinal Pompeius, whom once more I present unto your highness.
And once more in my arms I bid him welcome, and thank the holy conclave for their loves. They have sent me such a man I would have wished for.
It's a Pompeius.
Your grace must needs deserve all strangers' loves. You are so noble. To your highness's hand I tender my commission, by whose virtue the court of Rome, commanding you, my lord Cardinal of York, joined with me their servant in the impartial judging of this process.
Two equal men. The queen should be acquainted forthwith for what you come. Where is Gardiner?
I know your majesty has always loved her so dear in heart, not to deny her that a woman of less place might ask by law. Scholars allowed freely to argue for her.
Aye, and the best she shall have, and my favor to him that does best. God forbid else. Cardinal, pretty, call Gardiner to me, my new secretary. I find him a fit fellow.
Enter Gardiner to Wolsey.
Give me your hand, much joy and favor to you. You are the king's now.
But to be commanded forever by your grace, whose hand has raised me.
Come hither, Gardiner.
My lord.
Sorry, Mr. Enter Gardiner.
Yes, I'm here. Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
My lord of York, was not one Dr. Pace in this man's place before him?
Yes, he was.
Was he not held a learned man?
Yes, surely.
Believe me, there's an ill opinion spread then, even of yourself, Lord Cardinal.
How? He?
They will not stick to say you envied him, and, fearing he would rise, he was so virtuous, kept him a foreign man still, which so grieved him that he ran mad and died.
Heaven's peace be with him. That's Christian care enough. For living murmurers there's places of rebuke. He was a fool, for he would needs be virtuous. That good fellow, if I command him, follows my appointment, I will have none so near else. Learn this, brother, we live not to be gripped by meaner persons.
Deliver with modesty to the queen.
Gardiner exits.
The most convenient place that I can think of for such receipt of learning is Blackfriars. There you shall meet about his weighty business. Mr. Wolsey, see it furnished. Oh, my lord, would it not grieve an able man to leave so sweet a bedfellow? But conscience, oh, this tender place, and I must leave her.
They exit. Scene 3. Enter Anne Boleyn and an old lady.
Oh, not for that neither. Here's the pang that pinches. His Highness having lived so long with her, and she so good a lady that no tongue could ever pronounce dishonor of her. By my life, she never knew harm doing. Oh, now after so many courses of the sun enthroned, still growing in a majesty and pomp, the which to leave 1,000-fold more bitter than 'tis sweet at first to acquire. After this process, to give her the avant, it is a pity, would move a monster.
Hearts of most hard temper melt and lament for her.
Oh God, much better she had never known pomp, though thought it be temporal. That quarrel, fortune do divorce it from the bearer. 'Tis a sufferance panging as soul and body severing.
Alas, poor lady, she's a stranger now again.
Oh, so much the more must pity drop upon her. Verily. I swear 'tis better to be lowly born and range with humble livers in content than to be perked up in a glistening grief and wear a golden sorrow.
Our content is our best having.
Oh, by my trojan maidenhead, I would not be a queen.
Beshrew me, I would, and venture maidenhead for it, and so would you for all this spice of your hypocrisy. You that have so fair parts of woman on you, have too a woman's heart, which ever yet affected eminence, wealth, sovereignty, which, to say sooth, are blessings, which gifts saving your mincing, the capacity of your soft cheveril conscience would receive if you might please to stretch it.
Nay, good troth.
Yes, troth and troth. You would not be queen?
No, not for all the riches under heaven.
'Tis strange. A threepence bowed would hire me, old as I am, to queen it. But I pray you, what think you, Duchess? Have you limbs to bear that load of title?
No, in truth.
Then you are weakly made. Look off a little. I would not be a young count in your way for more than blushing comes to. If your back cannot vouchsafe this burden, 'tis too weak ever to get a boy.
How you do talk. I swear again, I would not be a queen for all the world.
In faith, for little England you'd venture an emballing. I, myself, would for carnarventure, although there belong no more to the crown than that. So, come here.
Enter Lord Chamberlain.
Good morrow, ladies. What were it worth to know the secret of your conference?
My good lord, not your demand its value, not your asking, our mistress's sorrow. We were pitying.
It was a gentle business, and becoming the action of good women, there is hope all will be well.
Now I pray God, and amen.
You bear a gentle mind, and heavenly blessings follow such creatures, that you may, fair lady, perceive I speak sincerely, and high notes ta'en of your many virtues. The king's majesty commends his good opinion of you, and does purpose honor to you no less flowing than Marchionesses of Pembroke, to which title £1,000 a year annual support out of his grace he adds.
I do not know what kind of my obedience I should tender. More than my all is nothing, nor my prayers are not words duly hallowed, nor my wishes more worth than empty vanities. Yet prayers and wishes are all I can return. Beseech your lordship, vouchsafe, so to speak, my thanks and my obedience as from a blushing handmaid to his highness, whose health and royalty I pray for.
Lady, I shall not fail to approve the fair conceit the king hath of you. I have perused her well. Beauty and honor in her are so mingled that they may have caught the king, and who knows yet but from this lady may proceed a gem to lighten all this isle. I'll to the king, and say I spoke to you.
My honored lord.
Lord Chamberlain exit.
Oh, this is it, see, I have been begging 16 years in court, and yet the courtier beggarly, nor could come past twixt too early and too late for any pounds, and you, oh, fate, a very fresh fish here. Fie upon this compelled fortune. Have your mouth filled up before you open it.
This is strange to me.
I'll taste it. Is it bitter? 40 pence? No. There was a lady once, 'tis an old story, that would not be queen. That would she not for all the mud in Egypt? Have you heard it?
Come, you're pleasant.
With your theme, I could o'ermount Bellark. The Marchioness of Pembroke, £1,000 a year for pure respect. No other obligation? By my life, that promises more thousands. Honor's train is longer than its foreskirt. By this time, I know your back will bear a duchess. Say, are you not stronger than you were?
Good lady, make yourself mirth with your particular fancy and leave me out on it. Would I had no being in this salute, my blood a jot. It faints me to think what follows. The queen is comfortless, and we forgetful in our long absence. Pray do not deliver what here you've heard to her.
What do you think of me?
They exit. Scene 4, trumpet, senate, and cornets. Enter 2 vergers with short silver wands, with them 2 scribes in the habit of doctors after them, the Bishop of Canterbury alone after him, the Bishops of Lincoln, Ely, Rochester, and St. Asaph next to them, with some small distance follows, gentlemen bearing the purse of the Great Seal and Cardinal's hat, 2 priests, and the gentlemen, sergeant at arms, gentlemen bearing true silver pillars side by side, cardinals, sword and mace. The king takes place under the state. 2 cardinals sit under him as judges. The queen takes place from distance from the king. The bishops place themselves at each other's turn. The lords sit next to bishops. The rest are attendants, including crier, the queen's gentleman, usher.
Whilst our commission from Rome is read, let silence be commanded.
What's the need? It had already publicly been read, and on all sides the authority allowed. You might then spare that time.
Be it so. Proceed.
Say, King Henry, King of England, come into the court.
Henry, King of England, come into the court.
Here.
Say, Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court.
Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court. Queen makes no answer, rises out of her chair, goes about the court, comes to the king, kneels at his feet, then speaks.
Sir, I desire you do me right and justice, and to bestow your pity on me. I am a most poor woman, and a stranger born out of your dominions, having here no judge indifferent, nor no more assurance of equal friendship and proceeding. Alas, sir, what have I offended you? What cause hath my behavior given to your displeasure, that thus you should proceed to put me off and take your good grace from me? Heaven witness, I have been to you a true and humble wife, at all times to your will conformable, ever in fear to kindle your dislike, yea, subject to your countenance, glad or sorry, as I saw it inclined. When was the hour I ever contradicted your desire, or made it not mine too? Or which of your friends have I not strove to love, although I knew he were mine enemy? What friend of mine that had to him derived your anger, did I continue in my liking, nay, gave notice? He was hence discharged. Sir, call to mind that I have been your wife in this obedience upward of 20 years, and have been blessed with many children by you. If in this course and process of this time you can report and prove it too against mine honor aught, my bond to wedlock, or my love and duty against your sacred person, in God's name turn me away and let the foulest contempt shut door upon me, and so give me up to the sharpest kind of justice. Please you, sir, the king, your father, was reputed for a prince most prudent, of an excellent and unmatched wit and judgment. Ferdinand, my father, king of Spain, was reckoned one the wisest prince that there had reigned by many a year before. It is not to be questioned that they had gathered a wise council for them every realm that did debate this business, who deemed our marriage lawful. Wherefore I humbly beseech you, sir, to spare me till I may be by my friends in Spain advised, whose counsel I will implore. Not in the name of God, your pleasure be fulfilled.
You have here, lady, and of your choice, these reverend fathers, men of singular integrity and learning, yea, the elect of the land, who are assembled to plead your cause. It shall be therefore bootless that longer you desire the court, as well for your own quiet as to rectify what is unsettled in the king.
Happiest?
His Grace.
Angus?
His Grace hath spoken well and justly. Therefore, madam, it is fit this royal session to proceed, and that without delay their arguments be now produced and heard.
Lord Cardinal, to you I speak.
Your pleasure, madam?
Sir, I am about to weep, but thinking that we are a queen, I long have dreamed so. Certain the daughter of a king, my drops of tears I'll turn to sparks of fire.
Be patient yet.
I will when you are humble. Nay, before, or God will punish me. I do believe, induced by potent circumstances, that you are mine enemy. And make my challenge, you shall not be my judge. For it is you have blown this coal betwixt my lord and me, which gods do quench. Therefore I say again, I utterly abhor, yea, from my very soul refuse you for my judge, whom yet once more I hold my most malicious foe, and think not at all a friend to truth.
I do profess you speak not like yourself. Whoever yet have stood to charity and displayed the effects of disposition gentle and of wisdom overtopping woman's power. Madam, you do me wrong. I have no spleen against you, nor injustice for you or any. How far I have proceeded, or how far further shall, is warranted by a commission from the consistory. Yea, the whole consistory of Rome. You charge me that I have blown this coal. I do deny it. The king, if it be known to him that I gainsay my deed, how may he wound and worthily my falsehood? Yea, as much as you have done my truth. If he know that I am free of your report, he knows I am not of your wrong. Therefore in him it lies to cure me. and the cure is to remove these thoughts from you, the which before his highness shall speak in, I do beseech you, gracious madam, to unthink your speaking and to say no more.
My lord, I am a simple woman, much too weak to oppose your cunning. You are meek and humble-mouthed. You sign your place in calling in full seeming, with meekness and humility. But your heart is crammed with arrogancy, spleen, and pride. You have by fortune and his highness' favors gone slightly o'er low steps, and now are mounted where powers are your retainers, and your words domestics to you. Serve your will as to please yourself. Pronounce their office. I must tell you, you tender more your person's honor than your high profession spiritual. But again, I do refuse you for my judge, and here before you all appeal unto the Pope to bring my whole cause for his holiness, and to be judged by him.
Queen is obstinate, stubborn to justice, apt to accuse it, and disdainful to be tried by it. 'Tis not well. She's going away.
Call her again.
Catherine, Queen of England, come into the court.
Madam, you are called back.
What need you note it? Pray you keep your way. When you are called, return. Now, the Lord help, they vex me past my patience. Pray you pass on. I will not tarry, no, nor evermore upon this business my appearance make in any of their courts.
Go thy ways, Kate. That man in the world who shall report he has a better wife, let him not be trusted, for speaking false in that. Thou art alone, if thy rare qualities, sweet gentleness, thy meekness, saint-like, wife-like government, the banking commanding, and thy parts, sovereign and pious else, could speak thee out, and the queen of earthly queens. She's noble born, and like her true nobility, she has carried herself towards me.
Most gracious sir, in humblest manner I require your highness that it shall please you to declare, in hearing of all these years, for where I am robbed and bound, there must I be unloosed, although not there at once and fully satisfied, whether ever I did broach this business to your highness, or laid any scruple in your way, which might induce you to the question on it, or ever have to you, but with thanks to God for such a royal lady, spake one the least word that might be to the prejudice of her present state, or touch of her good person.
My Lord Cardinal, I do excuse you. Yea, upon my honor, I free you from it. You are not to be told that you have many enemies that know not what they are, so but, like to village curs, bark when their fellows do. By some of these the queen is put in anger. You excused, but will you be more justified? You ever have wished the sleeping of this business, never desired it to be stirred, but oft have hindered, oft the passages made toward it. On my honor, I speak my good Lord Cardinal to this point, and thus far clear him. Now, what moved me to it? I will be bold with time and your attention. Then, mark the inducement. Thus it came, give heed to it. My conscience first received a tenderness, scruple, and prick on certain speeches uttered by the Bishop of Bayonne, then French ambassador, who had been hither sent on the debating. A marriage twixt the Duke of Orleans and our daughter Mary. In the progress of this business, ere a determinate resolution, he, I mean the bishop, did require respite, wherein he might the king his lord would advertise whether our daughter were legitimate, respecting this our marriage with the dowager, sometime our brother's wife. This respite shook the bosom of my conscience, entered me, yea, with spitting power and made to tremble the region of my breast, which forced such weight that many mazed considerings did trunk and pressed it in with this caution. First, methought, I stood not in smile of heaven, who had commanded nature, that my lady's womb, if it conceived a male child by me, should do no more office of life to it than the grave does to the dead. For her male issue or died where they were made, or shortly after this would have aired them. Hence, I took a thought, this was a judgment on me, that my kingdom, well worthy of the best hair of the world, should not be gladded in it by me. Then follows that I awaited the daughter which my realms stood in, by this my issues fail, and that gave to me many a groaning throe. Thus, calling in the wild sea of my conscience, I did steer toward this remedy, whereupon we are now present here together. That is to say, I mean to rectify my conscience, which I then did feel full sick, and yet not well, by all the reverend fathers of the land and doctors learned. First, I began in private, with you, my Lord of Lincoln. You remember how under my oppression I did rig when I first moved you.
Very well, my liege.
I have spoke long. Be pleased yourself to say how far you satisfied me.
So please, your highness, the question did at first so stagger me, bearing a state of mighty moment and consequence of dread, that I committed the daring counsel, which I had no doubt, and did entreat your highness to this course, which you are running here.
I then moved you, my Lord of Canterbury, and got to leave to make this present summons. Unsolicited, I left no reverend person in this court, but by particular consent proceeded under your hands and seals. Therefore go on. For no dislike in the world against the person of the good queen, but the sharp thorny points of my alleged reasons drives this forward. Prove that our marriage lawful by my wife and by my life and kingly dignity, we are contented to wear our mortal state to come with her, Catherine, our queen, before the primest creature that's paragoned in the world.
So please, your highness, the queen being absent, 'tis a needful fitness that we adjourn this court till further day. Meanwhile, there must be an earnest motion made to the queen to call back her appeal she intends unto his holiness.
I may perceive this cardinal's trifle with me. I abhor this dilatory sloth and tricks of Rome. My learned and well-beloved servant Cranmer, pretty return. With thy approach, I know my comfort comes along.
They exit.
Break up the court, I say. Set on.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Queen and her woman, as it were.
Take thy lute, wench. My soul grows sad with troubles. Sing, disperse them if thou canst. Leave working.
Woman sings a song. Any volunteers?
I'll sing it.
Missy. Oh, Missy. Missy.
No, I don't want to sing it.
Yes.
Orpheus with his flute made trees and the mountain tops.
All right, no, so Brandon, yeah, it's not Brandon. Wait, Missy, sorry, Brandon has, it's Brandon's line. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Orpheus with his lute made trees and the mountain tops that freeze bow themselves when he did sing. To his music plants and flowers ever sprung as sun and showers there had made a lasting spring. Everything that heard him play, even the billows of the sea, hung their heads and then lay by. In sweet music is such art, killing care and grief of heart. Fall asleep or hearing die.
Enter a gentleman.
Come now.
And it please your grace, two great cardinals wait in the presence.
Would they speak with me?
They wilt me say so, madam.
Pray their graces to come near.
Gentlemen exits.
What can be their business with me, a poor weak woman fallen from favor? I do not like their coming, now I think on it. They should be good men, their affairs as righteous. But all hoods make not monks.
Enter two cardinals, Wolsey and Campius.
Peace, your highness.
Your graces find me here, part of a housewife. I would be all against the worst may happen. What are your pleasures with me, reverend lords?
May it please you, noble madam, to withdraw into your private chamber. We shall give you the full cause of our coming.
Speak it here. There is nothing I have done yet. Oh, my conscience deserves a corner. Would all other women could speak this with as free a soul as I do. My lords, I care not. So much I am happy above a number if my actions were tried by every tongue, every eye saw 'em. Envy and base opinion set against them. I know my life so even. If your business seek me out, in that way I am wife in, out with it boldly. Truth loves open dealing.
Ante ergat tementis integritis, regina serenissima.
Oh, good my lord, no Latin. I'm not such a truant, since my coming is not to know the language I have lived in. Strange tongue makes my cause more strange. Suspicious. Pray, speak in English. Here are some will thank you if you speak truth, for their poor mistress' sake. Believe me, she has had much wrong, Lord Cardinal. The willingest sin I ever committed may be absolved in English.
Noble lady, I am sorry my integrity should breed, and service to his majesty and you, so deep suspicion, where all faith was meant. We come not by the way of accusation, to taint that honor every good tongue blesses, nor to betray you any way to sorrow. You have too much, good lady, but to know how you stand minded in the weighty difference between the king and you, and to deliver, like free and honest men, our just opinion and cause to your cause.
Campius? Angus? Most honored madam, my lord of York, out of his noble nature, zeal, and obedience, he still bore your grace, forgetting like a good man your late censure, both of us truth and him, which is too far, offers as I do in a sign of peace, his service and his counsel.
To betray me. My lords, I thank you both for your good wills. You speak like honest men. Pray God you prove so. But how to make you suddenly an answer in such a point of weight? So near mine honor, more near my life, I fear, with my weak wit, and with such men of gravity and learning. In truth, I know not. I was set at work among my maids, full little God knows, looking either for such men or such business. For her sake that I have been, I feel the last fit of my greatness. Good your graces, let me have time and counsel for my cause. Alas, I am a woman friendless, hopeless.
Madam, you wrong the king's love with these fears. Your hopes and friends are infinite.
in England, but little for my profit. Can you think, lords, that any Englishman dare give me counsel or be known a friend against his highness' pleasure? Though he be grown so desperate to be honest and live a subject? Nay, forsooth, my friends, they that must weigh out my afflictions, they that have my trust must grow too. Would not hear. They are as all my other comforts far hence in my own country, lords.
Would your grace would leave your griefs and take my counsel?
How, sir?
Put your main cause into the king's protection. He is loving and the most gracious. 'Twill be much both for you, your honor, better, and your cause. For if the trial of the law overtake you, you'll part away disgrace.
He tells you really.
You tell me what you wish for both. My ruin. Is this your Christian counsel? Out upon you! Heaven is above all yet. There sits a judge that no king can corrupt.
Your rage mistakes us.
The more shame for you. Holy men, I thought you. Upon my soul, two reverend cardinal virtues, but cardinal sins and hollow hearts, I fear you. Send 'em. For shame, my lords, is this your comfort? The cordial that you bring a wretched lady, a woman lost among you, laughed at, scorned? I will not wish you half my miseries. I have more charity. But say I warned you. Take heed, for heaven's sake, take heed, lest at once the burden of my sorrows fall upon you.
This is mere distraction. You turn the good we offer into envy.
You turn me into nothing. Woe upon you and all such false professors. Would you have me, if you have any justice, any pity, if you be anything but churchmen's habits, put my sick cause into his hands that hates me? Alas, has banished me his bed already, his love too long ago. I am old, my lords, and all the fellowship I hold now with him is only my obedience. What can happen to me above this wretchedness? All your studies make me a curse like this.
Your fears are worse.
Have I lived thus long? Let me speak myself, since virtue finds no friends. A wife, a true one, a woman, I dare say, without vain glory, never yet branded with suspicion. Have I, with all my full affection, still met the king, loved him next heaven, obeyed him, been out of fondness superstitious to him, almost forgot my prayers to content him? Am I thus rewarded? It's not well, my lords. Bring me a constant woman to her husband, one that ne'er dreamed a joy beyond his pleasure. To that woman, when she has done most, yet will I add honor, a great patience.
Madam, You wander from the good we aim at.
My lord, I dare not make myself so guilty to give up willingly that noble title your master wed me to. And nothing but death shall e'er divorce my dignities.
Pray, hear me.
Would I had never trod this English earth, or felt the flatteries that grow upon it. You have angels' faces, but heaven knows your hearts. What will become of me now, wretched lady? I am the most happy woman living. Alas, poor wenches, where are now your fortunes? Shipwrecked upon a kingdom where no pity, no friends, no hope, no kindred weep for me. Almost no grave allowed me. Like the lily that once was mistress of the field and flourished, I'll hang my head and perish.
If your grace could but be brought to know our ends are honest, you feel more comfort. Why should we, good lady, upon what cause wrong you? Alas, our places, the way of our profession is against it. We are to cure such sorrows, not to sow them. For goodness' sake, consider what you do, how you may hurt yourself. I utterly grow from the king's acquaintance by this carriage. The hearts of princes kiss obedience, so much they love it. But to stubborn spirits they swell, and grow as terrible as storms. I know you have a gentle, noble temper, a soul as even as a calm. Pray, think us those we profess, peacemakers, friends, and servants.
Madam, you'll find it so. You wrong your virtues with these weak women's fears. A noble spirit as yours was put into you, never cast such doubts as false coin from it. The king loves you. Beware you lose it not. For us, if you please, to trust us in your business, we are ready to use our utmost studies in your service.
Do what you will, my lords. Pray forgive me if I have used myself unmannerly. You know I am a woman lacking wit to make a seemly answer to such persons. Pray, do my service to his majesty. He has my heart yet, and shall have my prayers while I shall have my life. Come, reverend fathers, bestow your counsels on me. She now begs that little thought. When she set footing here, she should have brought her dignity so dear.
The exit. Scene 2. Enter Duke of Norfolk, Duke of Suffolk, Surrey, and Lord Chamberlain. Missy, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I haven't given you much to do, so you want to take over Norfolk?
Sure. Yep. If you will now unite in your complaints and force them with a constancy, the cardinal cannot stand under them. If you omit the offer of this time, I cannot promise but that you shall sustain more new disgraces with these you bear already.
I am joyful to meet the least occasion that may give me remembrance of my father-in-law, the Duke, to be revenged on him.
Which of the peers have uncontemned gone by him, or at least strangely neglected? When did he regard the stamp of nobleness in any person out of himself? My lords, you speak your pleasures. What he deserves of you and me, I know. What we can do to him, though now the time gives way to us, I much fear. If you cannot bar his access to the king, never attempt anything on him. He hath a witchcraft over the king's tongue.
Oh, fear him not. His spell in that is out. The king hath found matter against him that forever mars the honey of his language. No, he's settled, not to come off in his displeasure.
I should be glad to hear such news as this once every hour.
Believe it, this is true. In the divorce, his contrary proceedings are all unfolded, wherein he appears as I would wish mine enemy.
How came his practices to light?
Most strangely,
Oh, how?
the cardinal's letters to the Pope miscarried, and came to the eye of the king, wherein was read how that the cardinal did entreat his holiness to stay the judgment of the divorce. For if it did take place, I do, quoth he, perceive my king is tangled in affection to a creature of the queen's, Lady Anne Boleyn.
Has the king seen this?
Believe it.
Will it work?
The king in this perceives him, how he coasts and hedges his own way. But in this point all his tricks founder, and he brings his physic after his patient's death. The king already hath married the fair lady.
Would he had?
May you be happy in your wish, my lord, for I profess you have it.
And now all my joy trace the conjunction.
My amen to it.
All men's.
There's order given for her coronation. Mary, this is yet but young, and may be left to some ears unrecounted. But, my lords, she is a gallant creature, and complete in mind and feature. I persuade me from her will fall some blessing to this land, which shall not be mentioned.
But will the king digest this letter of the cardinals? The Lord forbid.
Marry, amen.
No. There be more wasps that buzz about his nose will make the stings the sooner. Cardinal Campasius is stolen away to Rome, hath ta'en no leave, has left the cause of the king unhandled, and is posted as the agent of our cardinal, to second all his plot. I do assure you, the king hath cried, ha, at this. Now God incense him, and let him cry, ha, louder.
But, my lord, when returns Cranmer?
He is returned in his opinions, which have satisfied the king for his divorce, together with all famous colleges almost in Christendom. Shortly, I believe, his second marriage shall be published, and her coronation. Catherine no more shall be called queen, but Princess Dowager, and widow to Prince Arthur.
The same Cranmer's a worthy fellow, and hath taken much pain in the king's business.
He has, and we shall see him for it an archbishop.
So I hear.
'Tis so. The cardinal.
Enter Wolsey and Cromwell.
Observe. He's moody.
The packet.
Sorry, what line are we at?
100.
You said 100?
Yeah.
Okay.
The packet, Cromwell. Gave it you the king?
Gotcha. To his own hand in his bedchamber.
Look at he on the inside of the paper.
Presently, he did unseal them, and the first he viewed. We did it with a serious mind. A he was in his countenance. You he bade attend him here this morning.
Is he ready to come abroad?
I think by this he is.
Leave me a while. It shall be to the Duchess of Alencon, the French king's sister. He shall marry her. Anne Boleyn. No, I'll know Anne Boleyn's for him. There's more in it than fair visage. Boleyn. No, we'll know Boleyn's. Speedily I wish to hear from Rome, the Marchioness of Pembroke.
Discontented.
Maybe he hears the king does what is anger to him.
Sharp enough, lords, for thy justice.
The late gentlewoman, a knight's daughter, to be her mistress's mistress, the queen's queen. This candle burns not clear. 'Tis I must snuff it. Then out it goes. What though I know her virtuous and well deserving? Yet I know her for a spleeny Lutheran, and not wholesome to our cause, that she should lie in the bosom of our hard-ruled king? Again, there is sprung up a heretic, an arch one, Cranmer. One hath crawled into the favor of the king, and is his oracle.
He is vexed at something.
I would 'twere something that would fret the string, the master cordon's heart.
The king.
Enter King, reading of a schedule, and Lavelle in attendance.
What piles of wealth had he accumulated to his own portion? And what expense by the hour seems to flow from him? How in the name of thrift does he rake this together? Now, my lords, saw you the cardinal?
My lord, we have stood here observing him. Some strange commotion is in his brain. He bites his lip and starts, stops on a sudden, looks upon the ground, then lays his finger on his temple straight, springs out into fast gait, then stops again, strikes his breast hard, and anon he casts his eye against the moon. In most strange postures we have seen him set himself.
It may well be there's a mutiny in his mind. This morning, papers of state sent to me to peruse, as I required, and what I found there, on my conscience, put unwittingly, forsooth an inventory, thus importing the several parcels of his plate, his treasure, rich stuffs and ornaments of household, which I found of such proud trade that it outspeaks possession of a subject.
It's heaven's will. Some spirit put this paper in the packet to bless your eye withal.
If we did think his contemplation were above the earth and fixed on spiritual object, he should still dwell in his misusings. But I am afraid his thinkings are below the moon, not worth his serious considering.
King takes his seat, whispers Lavelle, who goes to the cardinal.
Heaven forgive me. Ever God bless your highness?
Good, my lord. You're full of heavenly stuff, and bear the inventory of your best graces in your mind, the which you were now running over. You have scarce time to steal from spiritual leisure a brief span to keep your earthly audit. Sure, in that I deem you an ill husband, and am glad to have you therein my companion.
Sir, for holy offices I have a time to think upon the part of business which I bear in the state. And nature does require her times of preservation, which perforce I, her frail son, amongst my brethren mortal, must give my tendance to.
You have said well.
And ever may your highness yoke together, as I will lend you cause, my doing well with my well saying.
'Tis well said again, and 'tis a kind of good deed to say well. And yet, words are no deeds. My father loved you. He said he did, and with his deed, a deed did crown with his word upon you. Since I had my office, I have kept you next to my heart, have not alone employed you where high profits might come home, but paired my present hangings to bestow bounties upon you.
What should this mean?
Lord, increase this business.
Have I not made you the prime man of the state? I pray you tell me if what I now pronounce you have found true, and if you may confess it, say without if you are bound to us or no. What say you?
My sovereign, I confess your royal graces, showered on me daily, have been more than could my studied purposes requite, which went beyond all man's endeavors. My endeavors have ever come too short of my desires, yet filed with my abilities. Mine own ends have been mine, so that evermore they pointed to the good of your most sacred person and the profit of the state. Your great grace is heaped upon me, poor undeserver. I can nothing but allegiant thanks. My prayers to heaven for you, my loyalty, which ever has and ever shall be growing, till death, that winter kill it.
Fairly answered. A loyal and obedient subject is therein illustrated. The honor of it does pay the act of it, as in the contrary, the fullness is the punishment. I presume that as my hand has opened bounty to you, my heart dropped love, my power rained honor, more on you than any. So your hand and heart, your brain, and every function of your power should, notwithstanding that your bond of duty, and it were in last particular, be more to me, your friend, than any.
I do profess that for your highness's good, I ever labored more than mine own, that am, and have, and will be, though all the world should crack their duty to you, and throw it from their soul, though perils did abound, as thick as thought could make them, and appear in forms more horrid, yet my duty, as doth a rock against the chiding flood, should the approach of this wild river break, and stand unshaken yours.
It's nobly spoken. Take notice, lords. He has a loyal breast, for you have seen him open it.
And Wolsey papers reads over this.
Read all this, and after this, and then to breakfast with what appetite you have.
King exits, frowning upon the cardinal. Nobles throng after him, smiling and whispering, and exit.
What should this mean? What sudden anger is this? How have I reaped it? He parted frowning from me, as if ruin leaped from his eyes. So looks the chafed lion upon the daring huntsman that has galled him, then makes him nothing. I must read this paper? I fear the story of his anger. 'Tis so. This paper has undone me. 'Tis the account of all the world of wealth I have drawn together for mine own ends. Indeed, to gain the popedom and fee my friends in Rome. Oh, negligence, fit for a fool to fall by. What cross devil made me put this main secret in the packet I sent the king? Is there no way to cure this? No new device to beat this from his brains? I know 'twill stir him strongly, yet I know a way, if it take right, in spite of fortune, will bring me off again.
What's another paper?
What's this? To the Pope? The letter, as I live, with all the business I writ to his holiness. Nay then, farewell. I have touched the highest point of all my greatness, and from that full meridian of my glory, I haste now to my setting. I shall fall like in exhalation in the evening, and no man see me more.
Enter Wolsey, Dukes of Norfolk and Suffolk, Earl of Surrey, and Lord Chamberlain.
Hear the King's pleasure, Cardinal, who commands you to render up the Great Seal presently into our hands, and to confine yourself to Asher House, my Lord of Winchester's, till you hear further from his highness.
Stay. Where's your commission, lords? Words cannot carry authority so weighty.
Who dare cross them, bearing the king's will from his mouth expressly?
Till I find more than will or words to do it. I mean your malice. No, officious lords, I dare and must deny it. Now I feel of what coarse metal ye are molded. Envy. How eagerly ye follow my disgraces as if it fed ye, and how sleek and wanton ye appear in everything may bring my ruin. Follow your envious courses, men of malice. You have Christian warrant for them, and no doubt in time will find their fit rewards. That seal, you ask with such a violence, the king, mine and your master with his own hand gave me, bade me enjoy it with the place and honors during my life, and to confirm his goodness, tied it by letters patents. Now, who'll take it?
The king that gave it.
It must be himself then.
Thou art a proud traitor, priest.
Proud lord, thou liest. Within these 40 hours, Surrey durst better have burnt that tongue than said so.
Thy ambition, thou scarlet sin robbed this bewailing land of noble Buckingham, my father-in-law, the heads of all thy brother cardinals with thee, and all thy best parts bound together, weighed not a hair of his. Plague your policy. You sent me deputy for Ireland, far from his succor, from the king, from all that might have mercy on the fault thou gavest him, whilst your great goodness out of holy pity absolved him with an axe.
This and all else this talking lord can lay upon my credit, I answer is most false. The Duke by law found his deserts. How innocent I was from any private malice in his end. His noble jury and foul cause can witness. If I loved many words, Lord, I shall tell you, you have as little honesty as honor. That in the way of loyalty, truth toward the king, my ever royal master, dare made a sounder man than Surrey can be, and all that love his follies.
By my soul, your long coat, priest, protects you. Thou shouldst feel my sword in the lifeblood of the Celts. My lords, can you endure to hear this arrogance? And from this fellow, if we live thus tamely, to be thus jaded by a piece of scarlet, farewell nobility. Let his grace go forward and dare us with his cap like larks.
All goodness is poison to thy stomach.
Yes, that goodness of gleaning all the land's wealth into your hands, Cardinal, by extortion. The goodness of your intercepted packets you writ to the Pope against the King. Your goodness, since you provoke me, shall be most notorious. My lords of Suffolkers, you are truly noble as you respect the common good, the state of our despised nobility, our issues, whom if he live will scarce be gentlemen. Produce the grand sum of his sins, the articles collected from his life. I'll startle you worse than the sackring bell when the brown wench lay kissing in your arms, Lord Cardinal.
How much methinks I could despise this man, but that I am bound in charity against it.
Those articles, my lord, are in the king's hand, but thus much they are foul ones.
So much fairer and spotless shall mine innocence arise when the king knows my truth.
This cannot save you. I thank my Mary, I yet remember some of these articles, and out they shall. Now, if you can blush and cry, guilty, Cardinal, you'll show a little honesty.
Speak on, sir. I dare your worst objections. If I blush, it is to see a nobleman want manners.
I had rather want those than my head. Have at you. First, that without the king's assent or knowledge, you wrought to be a legate, by which power you maimed the jurisdiction of all bishops.
Then that in all you writ to Rome, or else to foreign princes, ego et rex meus was still inscribed, in which you brought the king to be your servant.
Then that, without the knowledge either of king or council, when you want ambassador to the emperor, you made hold to carry into Flanders the great seal.
Item, you sent large commission to Gregory de Casado to conclude without the king's will or the state's allowance a league between his highness and Ferrara.
That, out of mere ambition, you have caused your holy hat to be stamped on the king's coin.
Then that you have sent innumerable substance, by which means got I leave to your own conscience to furnish Rome, and to prepare the ways you have for dignities, to the mere undoing of all the kingdom. Many more there are which, since they are of you, are odious. I will not taint my mouth.
O my lord, press not a falling man too far. 'Tis virtue, his faults lie open to the laws. Let them, not you, correct him. My heart weeps to see him so little of his great self.
I forgive him.
Lord Cardinal, the king's further pleasure is, because all those things you have done of late, by your power legatine within this kingdom, fall into the compass of a premature, that therefore such a writ be sued against you, to forfeit all your goods, lands, tenements, chattels, and whatsoever, and to be out of the king's protection. This is my charge.
And so we'll leave you to your meditations, how to live better. For your stubborn answer about the giving back the great seal to us, the king shall know it, and no doubt shall thank you. So fare you well, my little good Lord Cardinal.
So, farewell to the little good you bear me.
Oh, but Wolsey exit.
So, farewell to the little good you bear me. Farewell, a long farewell to all my greatness. This is the state of man. Today he puts forth the tender leaves of hopes. Tomorrow blossoms and bears his blushing honors thick upon him. The third day comes a frost, a killing frost, and when he thinks, good, easy man, full surely his greatness is a ripening, nips his root, and then falls as I do. I have ventured, like little wanton boys that swim on bladders, this many summers in a sea of glory, but far beyond my depth. My high-blown pride at length broke under me, and now has left me, weary and old with service, to the mercy of a rude stream that must forever hide me. Vain pomp and glory of this world, I hate ye. I feel my heart opened. Oh, how wretched is that poor man that hangs on princesses' favors. There is, betwixt that smile we would aspire to, that sweet aspect of princes and their ruin, more pangs and fears than wars or women have. And when he falls like Lucifer, never to hope again.
Enter Cromwell, standing amazed.
Why? How now, Cromwell?
I have no power to speak, sir.
What, amazed at my misfortunes? Can thy spirit wonder a great man should decline? Nay, and you weep. I am fallen indeed.
How does your grace?
Why, well, never so truly happy, my good Cromwell. I know myself now, and I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities, a still and quiet conscience. The king has cured me. I humbly thank his grace, and from these shoulders, these ruined pillars out of thee, taken a load would sink a navy, too much honor. Oh, 'tis a burthen, Cromwell, 'tis a burthen to have too heavy for a man that hopes for heaven.
I am glad your grace has made that right use of it.
I hope I have. I am able now, methinks, out of a fortitude of soul I feel, to endure more miseries and greater far than my weak-hearted enemies dare offer. What news abroad?
The heaviest and the worst is your displeasure with the king.
God bless him.
The next is that Sir Thomas More is chosen Lord Chancellor in your place.
That's somewhat sudden, but he's a learned man. May he continue long in his highness's favor and do justice for truth's sake and his conscience. That his bones, when he has run his course and sleeps in blessings, may have a tomb of orphans, tears swept on him. What more?
that Kramer is returned with welcome, installed Lord Archbishop of Canterbury.
That's news indeed.
Last, that the Lady Anne, whom the king had been secretly long married, this day was viewed and open as his queen, going to chapel, and the voice is now only about her coronation.
There was the weight that pulled me down. Oh, Cromwell, the king has gone beyond me. All my glories in that one woman I have lost forever. No son shall ever usher forth mine honors, or gild against the noble troops that waited upon my smiles. Go, get thee from me, Cromwell. I am a poor fallen man, unworthy now to be thy lord and master. Seek the king. That sun, I pray, may never set. I have told him what and how true thou art. He will advance thee. Some little memory of me will stir him. I know his noble nature, not to let thy hopeful service perish too. Good Cromwell, neglect him not. Make use now and provide for thine own future safety.
Oh, my lord, must I then leave you? Must I needs forego so good, so noble, and so true a master? Bear witness, all that have not hearts of iron. With water sorrow Cromwell leaves his lord. The king shall have my service, but my prayers forever and forever shall be yours.
Cromwell, I did not think to shed a tear in all my miseries, but thou hast forced me out of thy honest truth to play the woman. Let's dry our ears, and thus far hear me, Cromwell. And when I am forgotten, as I shall be, and sleep in dull cold marble, where no mention of me more must be heard of, say, I taught thee. Say, Wolsey, that once trod the ways of glory and sounded all the depths and shoals of honor, found thee a way out of his wreck to rise in, a sure and safe one, though thy master missed it. Mark but my fall, and that ruined me. Cromwell, I charge thee, fling away ambition. By that sin fell the angels. How can man then, the image of his maker, hope to win by it? Love thyself last. Cherish those hearts that hate thee. Corruption wins not more than honesty. Still, in thy right hand carry gentle peace, to silence envious tongues. Be just and fear not. Let all the ends thou aimest at be thy countries, thy gods and truths. Then if thou fallest, O Cromwell, thou fallest a blessed martyr. Serve the king, and prithee, lead me in. There take an inventory of all I have, to the last penny. 'Tis the king's. My robe and my integrity to heaven is all I dare now call mine own. Oh, Cromwell, Cromwell, had I but served my God with half the zeal I served my king, he would not in mine age have left me naked to mine enemies.
Good sir, have patience.
So I have. Farewell, the hopes of court. My hopes in heaven do dwell.
They exit. And we take a 5-minute break. See you in 5.
Bathroom time.
Did Mark say earlier that he runs readings of things?
Do you, Mark? Mark?
Yes, I do something different. It's a group that I got together. Shelia is in it, Alex is in it, and some others. We go every Saturday at noon. We call it the Wheel of Shakespeare. The idea is we don't know what we're going to perform. We take turns and then we spin a wheel randomly, and it determines at random what monologue you're going to then read. And then
sounds fun.
And we do the same thing. Yeah, I'll send I'll send information about that to this group later on if you're interested.
That'd be great, thanks.
So that's what I heard. You told me about it early on, but I wasn't sure what it involved.
Yes, I'm interested in it too, the Shakespeare Wheel.
Cool.
It's great
I'll send
fun.
it out to everybody.
I'll leave my email in the chat. Have you got my email, Mark?
Yes?
Have you got my email, Mark?
I believe the Vincent sends it out to the whole list if I just
Yes.
If I just
Everybody-
Missy's email's on that general list.
okay, yeah, I'll just send it the whole list that Vincent.
What
Yeah.
what
Everybody
actual
should-
real time is it there, Missy?
It's 10:24 in the morning right now.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So let me see. New York City is currently 16 hours behind New York. No, sorry.
It's 11:25 in the morning, at night.
Right. So let me see. New York City is 16 hours behind New Zealand time right now.
Yeah.
And it's the next day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is.
So you're looking at tomorrow when you look at Missy. You're looking into a time machine.
Okay.
Okay, Act 4, Scene 1.
Yeah, I did Coriolanus with Shakespeare on Friday night, and it finished at 4:30 in the morning for me. It was
Well,
quite.
Well,
God.
I think I've heard about that group.
That's why I try to find a starting time that's good for everybody.
Yeah.
We're spanning the globe here. Okay, at Act 4, Scene 1, enter two gentlemen meeting one another.
You are well met once again.
So are you.
You come to take your stand here and lady unpass from the coronation.
'Tis all my business. At our last encounter, the Duke of Buckingham came from his trial.
It's very true. But that time offered sorrow, this general joy.
'Tis well. The citizens, I am sure, have shown at full their royal minds, as, let them have their rights, they are ever forward in celebration of this day with shows, pageants, and sights of honor.
Well, ever greater, nor I'll assume you better taken, sir.
May I be bold to ask what that contains, that paper in your hand?
Yes. 'Tis the list of those that claim their offices this day by custom of the coronation. The Duke of Suffolk is the first and claims to be High Steward. Next, the Duke of Norfolk, he to be Earl Marshal. You may read the rest.
I thank you, sir. Had I not known those customs, I should have been beholding to your paper. But I beseech you, what's become of Catherine, the Princess Dowager? How goes her business?
So that I can tell you too. The Archbishop of Canterbury, accompanied with other learned and reverend fathers of his order, held a late court at Dunstable, 6 miles off from Amphill, where the princess lay, to which she was not often cited by them, but appeared not. And to be short, for not appearance and the king's late scruple, the main assent of all these learned men, she was divorced, and the late marriage made of none effect, since which she was removed from Kimilton, where she remains now sick.
Alas, good lady.
What boys? Lively flourish, trumpet sounds. Queen is coming. Enter two judges, Lord Chancellor, with purse. Cloister singing. Music. Mayor of London. Then Garter. Enter Margaret Dorset. With him, Earl of Surrey. And with a dove crowned.
Who's that bears the scepter?
Marquis Dorset, and that the Earl of Surrey with the rod.
A bold, brave gentleman.
Enter Duke of Suffolk, with his robe of the States, steward with him. Duke of Norfolk, marshalship coronet on his head, and collars.
That should be the Duke of Suffolk.
It's the same. High Steward.
And that my Lord of Norfolk?
Yes.
Sir Kenmore for Chin Ports under the Queen. What's that?
Cinque Ports.
Cinque Ports, thank you. Under it, the Queen in her robe, richly adorned. The bishop on either side of her, bishops of London and Winchester.
Heaven bless thee. Thou hast the sweetest face I ever looked on. Sir, as I have a soul, she is an angel. Our king has all the Indies in his arms, and more and richer when he strains that lady. I cannot blame his conscience.
They that bear the cloth of honour over her are 4 barons of the Cinque-Ports.
Those men are happy, and so are all near her.
Enter old Duchess of Norfolk and a coronial of gold. Certain ladies count or countesses, and plain of gold without flowers.
I take it she that carries up the train is that old noble lady, Duchess of Norfolk.
It is, and all the rest are countesses.
Their coronets say so. These are stars indeed.
Sometimes falling ones.
No more of that.
God save you, sir.
Procession. Enter a third gentleman.
God save you, sir. What have you been broiling?
Among the crowd in the abbey where finger cannot be waged more, I am stifled with the mere weakness of their joy.
You saw the ceremony.
Oh, that I did.
How was it?
Worth seeing.
Good sir, speak it to us.
As well as I am able. Now, the rich stream of lords and ladies having brought the queen to a prepared place in the choir, fell off a distance from her while her grace sat down to rest a while, some half an hour or so. In a rich chair of state, opposing freely the beauty of her person to the people. Believe me, sir, she is the goodliest woman that ever laid by man, which when the people have to throw fuel off, such a noise arose to shrouds, make at sea in a stiff tempest, as loud as to in many tunes, hats, cloaks, doublets, I think, flew up, and had their faces been loosed this day they had been lost. Such joy I never saw before. Great belly woman that had not half a week to go, like rams in the old time of war, would shake the press and make them reel before them. No man living could say, "This is my wife there." All were woven so strangely in one place.
But what followed?
At length, her grace rose, and with modest paces came to the altar, where she kneeled and saint-like cast her fair eyes to heaven and prayed devoutly, then rose again and bowed her to the people, when by the Archbishop of Canterbury she had all the royal makings of a queen, as holy oil, and with confessors crowned with rod and bird of peace, and all such emblems laid nobly on her, which performed the choir with all the choirist music of the kingdom, together sung Te Deum. So she parted, and with the same full state paced back again to York Place, where the feast is held.
Sir, you must no more call it York Place. That's past. For since the Cardinal fell, that title's lost. It's now the King's and called Whitehall.
I know it, but 'tis so lately altered that the old name is fresh about me.
What 2 reverend bishops were those that went on each side of the queen?
Stokely and Gardiner, the one of Winchester, newly preferred from the king's secretary, the other London.
He of Winchester is held no great good lover of the archbishops, the virtuous Cranmer.
All the lands know that. However, yet there's no great breach. When it comes, Cranmer will find a friend will not shrink from him.
Who may that be, I pray you?
Thomas Cromwell, a man in much esteem with the king and truly a worthy friend. The king has made him master of the drill house and one already of the privy council.
He will deserve more.
Yes, without all doubt. Come, gentlemen, come. You shall go my way, which is to the court, and there you shall be my guest. Something I can command as I walk to the... I'll tell you more.
You may command, sir.
They exit. Scene 2. Enter Catherine Dowlinger, sick, between Griffith's gentleman usher and Patience, her woman.
Oh, does your grace?
Oh, Griffith, sick to death. My legs like loden branches bow to the earth, willing to leave their burden. Reach a chair. So, now methinks I feel a little ease. Didst thou not tell me, Griffith, as thou lett'st me, that the great child of honour, Cardinal Wolsey, is dead?
Yes, madam, but I think your grace, out of the pain you suffered, gave no ear to it.
Really good Griffith, to tell me how he died. If well, he stepped before me happily for my example.
Well, the voice goes, madam, for after the stout Earl Northumberland arrested him at York and brought him forward, as a man sorely tainted to his answer, he fell sick suddenly and grew so ill he could not sit his mule.
Alas, poor man.
At last, with easy roads, he came to Leicester, lodged in the abbey, where the reverend abbot, with all his convent, honourably received him, to whom he gave these words: O Father Abbot, an old man, broken with the storms of state, is come to lay his weary bones among you. Give him a little earth for charity. So, his bed, where his eagerly sickness pursued him still, and 3 nights after this, about the hour of 8, which he himself foretold should be his last, full of repentance, continual meditations, tears, and sorrows, he gave his honours to the world again, his blessed part to heaven, and slept in peace.
So may he rest. His faults lie gently on him. Yet thus far, Griffith, give me leave to speak him, and yet with charity. He was a man of an unbounded stomach, ever ranking himself with princes, one that by suggestion tied all the kingdom. Simony was fair play. His own opinion was his law. In the present he would say untruths, and be ever double both in his words and meaning. He was never but where he meant to ruin. Pitiful. His promises were, as he then was, mighty, but his performance as he is now, nothing. His own body he was ill, and gave the clergy ill example.
Noble madam, men's evil manners live in brass, their virtues we write in water. May it please your highness to hear me speak his good now?
Yes, good Griffith, I were malicious else.
This cardinal, though from a humble stock, undoubtedly was fashioned to much honour. From his cradle he was a scholar, and a right and good one, exceedingly wise, fair-spoken and persuading, lofty and sour to them that loved him not, but to those men that sought him sweet as summer. And though he were unsatisfied in getting, which was a sin, yet in bestowing, madam, he was most princely. Ever witness for him those twins of learning that he raised in you, Ipswich and Oxford, one of which fell with him, unwilling to outlive the good that did it, the other, though unfinished, yet so famous, so excellent in art, and still so rising, that Christendom shall ever speak his virtue. His overthrow heaped happiness upon him, for then and not till then he felt himself, and found the blessedness of being little, and to add greater honours to his age that man could give him, he died fearing God.
After my death, I wish no other herald, no other speaker of my living actions to keep mine honour from corruption, but such as honest chronicler as Griffith, whom I have most hated living. Thou hast made me with thy religious truth and modesty, now in his ashes, honour. Peace be with him. Patience, be near me still, and set me lower. I have not long to trouble thee, good Griffith. Cause the musicians to play me that sad note I named my knell, while I sit meditating on that celestial harmony I go to.
Sad and solemn music.
She's asleep. Good wench. Let's sit down quiet. For fear we wake her. Softly, gently, patiently.
They sit division. Enter solemnly, tripping one after the other. The personage, clad in white robes, wearing on their head garlands of bays, golden wizards. Other faces, branches, bays of palm in their hands. They first conjee unto her, then dance. And at certain changes, the first two hold a spare garland over her head, at which the other four make reverent curtsies. Then the two that held the garland deliver the same to the other next two, who observe the same order in their changes of holding the garland over her head. Which done, they deliver the same garland to the last two, who likewise observe the same order, at which, as it were by inspiration, she makes it in her sleep signs of rejoicing, and holdeth up her hands to heaven, and so, in her dancing, vanishes, carrying the garland with her. The music continues.
Spirits of peace, where are you? You gone and leave me here in wretchedness behind you?
Madam, we are here.
Not you I called for. I saw you none enter since I slept.
None, madam.
Oh, saw you not even now a blessed troop and invite me to a banquet whose bright faces cast thousand beams upon me like the sun. They promised me eternal happiness and brought me garlands, Griffith, which I feel I am not worthy yet to wear. I shall assuredly.
I am most joyful, madam. Such good dreams possess your fancy.
Musically, they're harsh and heavy to me.
Patience enters.
Do you note how much her grace is altered on the sudden? How long her face is drawn? How pale she looks? And all of her earthly coat mark her eyes.
He's going, wench. Pray, pray.
Heaven comfort her.
Enter a messenger.
And like your grace.
You're a saucy fellow. Deserve we no more reverence?
You are to blame, knowing she will not lose her wonted greatness to use so rude behavior. Go to, kneel.
I humbly do entreat your highness pardon. My hands made me unmannerly. There is staying a gentleman sent from the king to see you.
Admit him entrance, Griffith.
Messenger rises.
But this fellow, let me ne'er see him again.
Messenger exits enter Lord Capucius.
If my sight fail not, you should be Lord Ambassador from the Emperor. My royal nephew, and your name Capucius.
Madam, the same. Your servant.
Oh, my lord, the times and titles now are altered strangely. Me, since first you knew me. But I pray you, what is your pleasure with me?
Noble lady, first, my known service to your grace. The next, the king's request that I would visit you, who grieves much for your weakness, and by me sends you his princely commendations, and heartily entreats you, take good comfort.
Oh, my good lord, that comfort comes too late. 'Tis like a pardon after execution. That gentle physic given in time had cured me, but now I am past all comforts here but prayers. How does His Highness?
Madam, in good health.
So may he ever do, and ever flourish. When I shall dwell with worms and my poor name banished the kingdom. Patient, is that letter I caused you write yet sent away?
No, madam.
Sir, I most humbly pray you to deliver this to my lord the king.
Most willing, madam.
In which I have commended to his goodness the model of our chaste loves, his young daughter. The dews of heaven fall thick in blessings on her, beseeching him to give her virtuous breeding. She is young and of a noble, modest nature. I hope she will deserve well. A little to love her for her mother's sake that loved him, heaven knows how dearly. My next poor petition is that his good, noble grace would have some pity upon my wretched women, that so long have followed both my fortunes faithfully, which there is not one I dare avow, and now I should not lie, but will deserve for virtue and true beauty of the soul, for honesty and decent marriage, a right good husband. Let him be noble, and sure those men are happy that shall have him. This last is for my men. They are the poorest, but poverty could ne'er draw 'em from me, that they may have their wages duly paid 'em, and something over to remember me by. If heaven is pleased to have given me longer life and able means, we had not parted thus. These are the whole contents, and good my lord, by that you love the dearest in this world, as you wish Christian peace to souls departed, stand these poor people's friend, and urge the king to do me this last right.
By heaven, I will. Or let me lose the fashion of a man.
Thank you, honest lord. Remember me in all humility unto his highness. Say his long trouble now is passing out of this world. Tell him in death I blessed him, for so I will. Mine eyes grow dim. Farewell, my lord. Griffith, farewell. Hey, Patience, you must not leave me yet. I must to bed. Call in more women. When I am dead, good wench, let me be used with honor. Strew me over with maiden flowers, that all the world may know I was chaste wife to my grave. Embalm me, then lay me forth, although unqueened, yet like a queen, daughter to a king. I can no more.
They exit, leading Catherine. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Gardiner, Bishop of Winchester, a page, and a torch before him, met by Sir Thomas Lavelle.
It is 1 o'clock, boy, is it not?
It hath struck.
These should be hours for necessities, not for delights, times to repair our nature with comforting repose, and not for us to waste these times. Good hour of night, Sir Thomas, whither so late?
Came you from the king, my lord?
I did, Sir Thomas, and left him at Primero with the Duke of Suffolk.
I must to him too. Before he go to bed, I'll take my leave.
Not yet, Sir Thomas Lovell. What's the matter? It seems you are in haste, and if there be no great offence belongs to it, give your friend some touch of your late business. Affairs that walk, as they say spirits do, at midnight have in them a wilder nature than the business that seeks dispatch by day.
My lord, I love you, and durst commend a secret to your ear much weightier than this work. The queen's in labour, they say in great extremity, and feared she'll with the labour end.
The fruit she goes with, I pray for heartily, that it may find good time and live. But for the stock, Sir Thomas, I wish it grubbed up now.
Methinks I could cry the amen, and yet my conscience says she's a good creature, and sweet lady, does deserve our better wishes.
But sir, hear me, Sir Thomas, you are a gentleman of mine own way. I know you wise religious, and let me tell you, it will never be well. 'Twill not, Sir Thomas Lovell, take it of me, till Cranmer Cromwell, her 2 hands and she sleep in their graves.
Now, sir, you speak of 2 the most remarked of the kingdom. As for Cromwell, besides that of the jewel house, is made master of the rolls and the king's secretary. Further, sir, stands in the gap and trade of more preferments, with which the time will load him. The archbishop is the king's hand and tongue, and who dare speak one syllable against him?
Yes, Sir Thomas, there are that dare, and I myself have ventured to speak my mind of him, and indeed this day, sir, I may tell it you, I think I have incensed the lords of the council that he is, for so I know he is, they know he is, a most arch heretic, a pestilence that does infect the land with which they moved, have brought with the king, who hath so far given ear to our complaint of his great grace and princely care, foreseeing those fell mischiefs our reasons laid before him, hath commanded tomorrow morning to the council board he be convented. He's a rank weed, Sir Thomas, and we must root him out. From your affairs I hinder you too long. Good night, Sir Thomas.
Many good nights, my lord. I rest your servant.
Gardiner exits and Page. Gardiner and Page exit Mr. King and Suffolk.
Charles, I will play no more tonight. My mind's not on it. You are too hard for me.
Sir, I did never win of you before.
But little Charles, no shall not when my fancy's on my playing. Now, Lovell, from the Queen, what is the news?
I could not personally deliver to her what you commanded to me, but by her woman I sent your message, who returned her thanks in the greatest humbleness, and desired your highness most heartily to pray for her.
What sayst thou, eh? To pray for her?
So said,
Is she crying out?
So said her woman, and that her sufferance made almost each pang a death.
Oh, alas, good lady.
God safely quit her of her burden, and with gentle travail to the gladding of your highness with an air.
'Tis midnight, Charles, pretty, to bed, until thy prayers remember the state of my poor queen. Leave me alone, for I must think of that which company would not be friendly to.
I wish your highness a quiet night, and my good mistress will remember in my prayers.
Charles, good night.
Suffolk exits. Enter Sir Anthony Denny.
Well, sir, what follows?
Sir, I have brought my lord, Archbishop, as you commanded me.
Ha! Canterbury!
Aye, my good lord.
'Tis true. Where is he, Denny?
He attends your highness's pleasure.
Bring him to us.
Denny exits.
This is about that which the bishop happily come hither.
Enter Cranmer and Denny.
Avoid the gallery. Ha! I have said, be gone. What?
Now Lovell and Denny exit.
I am fearful. Wherefore frowns he thus? 'Tis his aspect of terror. All's not well.
How now, my lord? You do desire to know wherefore I sent for you.
It is my duty to attend your highness' pleasure.
Pray you arise. My good and gracious Lord of Canterbury, come, you and I must walk turn together. I have news to tell you. Come, give me your hand. Ah, my good lord, I grieve at what I speak, and I'm right sorry to repeat what follows. I have almost unwillingly of late heard many grievous, I'd say, my lord, grievous complaints of you, which, being considered, have moved us and our council that you shall this morning come before us, where I know you cannot with such freedom purge yourself, but that till further trial in those charges which will require your answer, you must take your patience to you and be well contented to make your house our tower. You are brother of us. It fits we thus proceed, or else no witness would come against you.
I humbly thank your highness, and am right glad to catch this good occasion most thoroughly to be winnowed, where my chaff and corn shall fly asunder. For I know there's none stands under more calumnious tongues than I myself, poor man.
Stand up, good Canterbury. Thy truth and thy integrity is rooted in us, thy friend. Give me thy hand. Stand up. Prithee, let's walk. Now by my halidom, what manner of man are you? My lord, I looked, you would have given me your petition that I should have taken some pains to bring together yourself and your accusers, and to have heard you without endurance further.
My dread liege, the good I stand on is my truth and honesty. If they shall fail, I with mine enemies will triumph over my person, which I weigh not, being of those virtues vacant. I fear nothing what can be said against me.
Know you not how your state stands in the world, with the whole world? Your enemies are many and not small. Their practices must bear the same proportion, and not ever the justice and the truth of the question carries the due of the verdict with it. At what ease might corrupt minds procure knaves as corrupt to swear against you? Such things have been done. You are potently opposed, and with a malice of as great size. When you have better luck, I mean in perjured witness, that your master, whose minister you are, whilst here he lived upon this naughty earth, go to. You take a precipice for no leap of danger, and woo your own destruction.
God and your majesty protect mine innocence, or I fall into the trap is laid for me.
Be of good cheer. They shall no more prevail than we give way to. Keep comfort to you, and this morning see you do appear before them. If they shall chance in charging you with matters to commit you, the best persuasions to the contrary fail not to use, and with what vehemency the occasion shall instruct you. If entreaties will render you to no remedy, this ring, deliver them, and you appeal to us, there make before them. Look, the good man weeps, he's honest, on my honor. God's blessed mother as well, he's true-hearted, and a soul none better in my kingdom. Get you gone, and do as I have bid you. He has strangled his language in his tears.
Come back. What mean you?
Enter old lady, followed by Lavelle.
I will not come back. The tidings that I bring will make my boldness manners. Now, good angels fly o'er the royal head and shade thy person under their blessed wings.
Now, by my looks, I guess thy message. Is the queen delivered? Say ay and of a boy.
Ay, my liege, and of a lovely boy. The God of heaven both now and ever bless her. 'Tis a girl, promises boys hereafter. Sir, your queen desires your visitation, and to be acquainted with this stranger. 'Tis as like you as cherry is to cherry.
Lovell?
Sir.
Give her 100 marks. Out to the queen.
King exits.
100 marks? By this light I have more. An ordinary groom is for such payment. I will have more, or scold it out of him. said I, for this the girl was like to him. I'll have more, or else unsayest it. And now, while 'tis hot, I'll to the issue.
Old lady exits with Lovell. Scene 2. Enter Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury.
I hope I am not too late. And yet the gentleman that was sent to me from the council prayed me to make great haste. But all fast? What means this? Oh, who waits there?
Enter Keeper.
Sure you know me.
Yes, my lord. But yet I cannot help you.
Why?
Your grace must wait till you be called for.
So?
Answer, Dr. Butts. Missy, you want to take Butts?
Sure.
Yes, yep, I will. Yep, I will. This is a piece of malice. I am glad I came this way so happily. The king shall understand it presently.
That is Butts, the king's physician. As he passed along, how earnestly he cast his eyes upon me. Pray help me, sound not my disgrace. For certain, this is of purpose laid by some that hate me. God turn their hearts. I never sought their malice to quench mine honour. They would shame to make me wait else at a door, a fellow counsellor, among boys, grooms, and lackeys. But their pleasure must be fulfilled, and I attend with patience.
Enters King and Butts at a window above.
I'll show your grace the strangest sight.
What's that, Butts?
I think your highness saw this many a day.
Bother me. Where is it?
There, my lord, the high promotion of his grace of Canterbury, who holds the state at door amongst pursuivants, pages, and footboys.
Ha! Is he dead? Is this the honor they do one another? 'Tis well there's one above them yet. I had thought they had parted so much honesty among them, at least good manners, as not thus to suffer a man of his place, and so near our favour, to dance attendance on their lordship's pleasures, and at the door too, like a post with packets. By Holy Mary, Bats, there's knavery! Let them alone and draw the curtain close. We shall hear more anon.
He drew the curtain. The council table brought in with chairs and stools placed under the state. Under the state. Enter Lord Chancellor, places under the table. Duke of Suffolk and Norfolk, Surrey, Lord Chamberlain, Gardener seat themselves in order. Crumb lower and secretary. As secretary.
Speak to the business, Master Secretary. Why are we met in council?
Your honors, the chief cause concerns His Grace of Canterbury.
Has he had knowledge of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without my noble lords?
Yes.
My Archbishop, and he's done half an hour to know your pleasures.
Let him come in.
Your grace may enter now.
Cranmer approaches the council table.
My good lord, sorry.
My good Lord Archbishop, I am very sorry to sit here at this present and behold that chair stand empty, but we all are men, and our own natures frail, and capable of our flesh, few angels, out of which frailty and want of wisdom you, that best should teach us, have misdemeaned yourself, and not a little, toward the king first, then his laws, in the whole realm by your teaching and your chaplains, for so we are informed, with new opinions, diverse and dangerous, which are heresies, and, not reformed, may prove pernicious.
Which reformation must be sudden too, my noble lords, for those that tame wild horses hasten not in their hands to make 'em gentle, but stop their mouths with stubborn bits and spur 'em till they obey the manage. If we suffer out of our easiness and childish pity to one man's honour, this contagious sickness, farewell all physic. And what follows then? Commotions, uproars, with a general taint of the whole state, as of late days our neighbours, the Upper Germany, can dearly witness, yet freshly pitied in our memories.
My good lord, hitherto in all the progress both of my life and office, I have laboured, and with no little study, that my teaching and the strong course of my authority might go one way and safely. And the end was ever to do well. Nor is there living, I speak it with a single heart, my lords, a man with more detests, more stirs against, both in his private conscience and his place, defaces of a public peace than I do. Pray heaven the king may never find a heart with less allegiance in it. Men that make envy and crooked malice nourishment dare bite the best. I do beseech your lordships that in the case of justice, my accusers, be what they will, may stand forth face to face and freely urge against me.
Nay, my lord, that cannot be. You are a counsellor, and by that virtue no man dare accuse you.
My lord, because we have business of more moment, we will be short with you. 'Tis his highness's pleasure, our consent, for better trial of you. From hence you be committed to the Tower, where, being but a private man again, you shall know many dare accuse you boldly. More than I fear you are provided for.
Oh, my good lord of Winchester, I thank you. You were always my good friend. If your will pass, I shall find both your lordship judge and juror. You are so merciful. I see your end. 'Tis my undoing. Love and meekness, Lord, become the churchman better than ambition. Win the straying souls with modesty again. Cast none away. That I shall clear myself, lay all the weight you can upon my patience. I make as little doubt as you do what you do conscience in daily wrongs. I could say more, but reverence to your calling makes me modest.
My lord, you are a secretary. That's the plain truth. Poor painted gloss discovers to men that answer you, words and weakness.
My lord of Winchester, you're a little by your good favor too short. Men so noble, however faulty, yet should find respect for whatever they have been. 'Tis a cruelty to load a failing man.
Good master secretary, I cry your honour mercy. You may worst of all this table say so.
Why, my lord?
I do not I know you for a favourer of this new sect. You are not sound.
Not sound?
Not sound, I say.
Were you half so honest? Men's prayers then would seek you, not their fears.
I shall remember this bold language.
Do. Remember your bold life, too.
This is too much. Forbear, for shame, my lords.
I have done.
And I.
Then thus for you, my lord, it stands agreed. I take it by all voices that forthwith you be conveyed to the Tower a prisoner, there to remain till the king's further pleasure be known unto us. Are you all agreed, lords?
We
We
are.
are.
We are.
Is there no other way of mercy that I must needs to the Tower, my lords?
What other would you expect? You are strangely troublesome. Let some of the guard be ready there.
For me? Must I go like a traitor thither?
Receive him and
Yes.
see him safe in the Tower.
Stay, good my lords. I have a little yet to say. Look, there, my lords. By virtue of that ring, I take my cause out of the grips of cruel men and give it to the most noble judge, the king, my master.
This is the king's ring.
No counterfeit.
'Tis the ring, the right ring, by heaven. I told ye all, when ye first put this dangerous stone a-rolling, 'twould fall upon ourselves.
Do you think, my lords, the king will suffer but the little finger of this man to be vexed?
'Tis now too certain how much more is his life in value with him. Would I were fairly out on it.
My mind gave me in seeking tales and informations against this man, whose honesty the devil, and yet his disciples only envy at. You blew the fire that burns you, now have at you. Enter the king.
Dread sovereign, how much are we bound to heaven in daily thanks that gave us such a prince, not only good and wise, but most religious, one that in all obedience makes the church the chief aim of his honor, and to strengthen that holy duty out of dear respect, his royal in judgment comes to hear the cause betwixt her and this great offender.
You are ever good at selling commendations, Bishop of Winchester. But now I come not to hear such flattery now, and in my presence they are too thin and base to hide offences. To me you cannot reach. You play the spaniel and think with wagging of your tongue to win me. Whatsoever thou takest me for, I'm sure thou hast a cruel nature and a bloody good man. Sit down. Now let me see the proudest, he that dares most that wag his finger at thee. By all that's holy, he had better starve than but once think this place becomes thee not.
May it please your grace.
No, sir, it does not please me. I had thought I had men of some understanding and wisdom of my counsel, but I find none. Was it discretion, lords, to let this man, this good man, few of you deserve the title, this honest man, wait like a lousy food boy at chamber door? And to one as great as you are? Why? What a shame was this? Did my commission bid you so far forget yourselves? I gave you powers he was so to try him, not as a groom. There are some of you, I see, more out of malice than integrity, would try him to the utmost, had you mean, which you shall never have while I live.
Thus far, my most dread sovereign, may it like your grace to let my tongue excuse all. What was purposed concerning his imprisonment was rather, if there be faith in men, meant for his trial and fair purgation to the world, than malice, I'm sure in me.
Well, well, my lords, respect him. Take him and use him well. He's worthy of it. I will say thus much for him. If a prince may be beholding to a subject, I am, for his love and service, so to him. Make me no more ado, but all embrace him. Be friends, for shame, my lords. My Lord of Canterbury, I have a suit which you must not deny me. That is, a fair young maid and yet wants baptism. You must be good father and answer for her.
Greatest monarch now alive may glory in such an honor. How may I deserve it that I'm a poor and humble subject to you?
Come, come, my lords. You'll spare your spoons. You shall have two noble partners with you, the old Duchess of Norfolk and Lady Marquis Dorset. Will this please you? Once more, my Lord of Winchester, I charge you, embrace and love this man.
With a true heart and brother love, I do it.
Well, let heaven witness how dear I hold this confirmation.
Good man, those joyful tears show thy true heart. The common voice I see is verified of thee, which says thus, do my Lord of Canterbury a sure turn, and he's your friend forever. Come, lords, we trifle time away. I long to have this young one made the Christian. As I have made one, lords, one remain. So I grow stronger, you more honor gain.
They exit. Scene 3. Noise and tumult within. Enter Porter and his man, carrying Cudgel.
You leave your noise or not, you rascals? Do you take the court for parish garden? You rude slaves, leave your gaping.
Good master, porter, I belong to the larder.
Belong to the gallows and be hanged, you rogue. Is this a place to roar in? Fetch me a dozen Crabtree staves and strong ones. These are but switches to them. I'll scratch your heads. You must be seeing christenings. Do you look for ale and cakes here, you rude rascals?
Pray, sir, be patient. This is much impossible unless we sweep them from the door with cannons to scatter them, and 'tis to make them sleep on May Day morning, which will never be. We may as well push against falls as stir 'em.
How got them in and be hanged?
Alas, I know not. How gets the tide in? As much as one sound cudgel for a 4 foot. You see the poor remainder could distribute. I made no spare, sir.
You did nothing, sir.
I am not Stenson, nor Sir Guy, nor Colbrand, nor mow 'em down before me. But if I spared any that had a head to hit either young or old, he or she, cuckold or cuckold maker, let me ne'er hope to see shine again, and that I would not for a cow. God save her. Do you hear her, Master Porter?
I shall be with you presently. Good Master Puppy, keep the door closer up.
What would you have me do?
What should you do but knock them down by the dozens? Is this more fields to muster in? Or have we some strange Indian with the great duke come to court? The women so besiege us. Bless me, what a fry of fornication is that door? On my Christian conscience, this one christening will beget 1,000. Here will be father, godfather, and all together.
The spoons will be the bigger, sir. There is a fellow somewhat near the door. He should be a brazier by his face, or by conscience. 20 of the dog days now reign in his nose. All that stand about him are under the line. They need no other penance. That fire Drake did. I hit 3 times on the head, and 3 times was his nose discharged against me. He stands there like a mortar piece to blow us. There was a haberdasher's wife of small wit near him that railed upon me till her pinked porringer fell off her head for kindling and such a combustion in the state. I missed the meteor once, and hit that woman who cried out clubs when I might see from far some 40 truncheons draw to her succor, which were the hope of the strand where she was quartered. They fell on. I made good my place. At length they came to the room staff to me. I defied him still, when suddenly a file of boys behind him, loose shoot, delivered such a shower of pebbles that I was fain to draw mine honor in and let 'em win the work. The devil was amongst them, I think surely.
These are the youths that thunder at a playhouse and fight for bitten apples. That no audience but the tribulation of Tower Hill or the limbs of Limehouse. Their brothers are able to endure. I have some of them in Limbo Porto, and there they are like to dance these 3 days, besides the running banquet of 2 beetles that is to come.
Enter Lord Chamberlain.
Mercy on me, what a multitude are here! They grow still, too. From all parts they are coming, as if we kept a fair here. Where are these porters, these lazy knaves? Ye have made a fine hand, fellows. There's a trim rabble let in. Are all these your faithful friends of the suburbs? We shall have great store of room, no doubt. Left for the ladies when they pass back from the christening.
And please your honor, we are but men, and what so many may do, not being torn to pieces, we have done. An army cannot rule.
As I live, if the king blames me for it, I'll lay ye all by the heels, and suddenly, and on your heads clap round fines for neglect. Ye are lazy knaves, and here ye lie barred. Hark! Sound! Christening. Go, break among the press, and find a way out to let the troop pass fairly. Or I'll find a Marcalassa shall hold ye play for these 2 months.
Make way there for the princess.
You great fellow, stand close up, or I'll make your head ache.
You're the gambler. Get it up the rail. I'll pack you over the pale elves.
They exit. Scene 4, enter trumpets. Sounding when 2 aldermen, Lord Mayor Garner, Cranmer, Duke of Norfolk, and his marshal staff, Duke of Suffolk, 2 noblemen, bearing standing bells, 4 gifts noblemen, Duchess of Norfolk, Grand Godmother of Bearing City, Marchioness Dorset, the other grandmother's ladies. The troops pass once about the range, and Garter speaks.
Heaven from thy endless goodness send prosperous life, long and ever happy to the high and mighty Princess of England, Elizabeth.
Flourish, enter king and guard.
And to your royal grace and the good queen, my noble partner and myself thus pray. All comfort, joy in this most gracious lady, heaven ever after laid up to make parents happy, may hourly fall upon you.
Thank you, good Lord, Archbishop. What is her name?
Elizabeth.
Stand up, Lord. With this kiss take my blessing. God protect thee, into whose hand I give thy life.
Amen.
My noble gossip, you've been too prodigal. I thank you heartily, so shall this lady when she has so much English.
Now let me speak, sir. For heaven now bids me, and the words I utter let none think flattery, for they'll find them truth. This royal infant, heaven still move about her, though in her cradle, yet now promises upon this land 1,000 blessings, which time shall bring to rightness. She shall be, but few now living who behold that goodness, a pattern to all princes living with her, and all that shall succeed. Saba was never more covetous of wisdom and fair virtue than this pure soul shall be. All princely graces that mould up such a mighty piece as this, with all the virtues that attend the good, shall still be doubled on her. Truth shall nurse her, holy and heavenly thought shall still counsel her. She shall be loved and feared. Her own shall bless her, her foes shake like a field of beaten corn, and hang their heads with sorrow. Good grows with her. In her days every man shall eat in safety, under his own vine what he plants and sings, the merry songs of peace to all his neighbours. God shall be truly known, and those about her from her shall read the perfect ways of honour, and by these claim their greatness, not by blood. Nor shall this peace sleep with her, but as when the bird of wonder dies, the maiden phoenix, her ashes new create another heir. As great in admiration as herself, so shall she leave her blessedness to one when heaven shall call her from this cloud of darkness, who from the sacred ashes of her honour shall starlight rise as great in fame as she was, and so stand fixed. Peace, plenty, love, truth, terror, that where the servants to this chosen infant shall then be his, and like a vine grow to him, wherever the bright sun of heaven shall shine. His honour and his greatness, the greatness of his name, shall be and make new nations. He shall flourish, and like a mountain cedar reach his branches to all the plains about him. Our children's children shall see this and bless heaven.
Thou speakest wonders.
She shall be the happy and aged princess. Many days shall see her, and yet today with a deed to crown it would I had known no more. But she must die. The saints must have her, yet a virgin, a most spotted lily. Shall she pass to the ground, all the world shall mourn her.
Oh, Lord Archbishop, thou hast made me now a man. Never before this happy child did I get anything. This oracle of comfort has so pleased me that when I am in heaven I shall desire to see what this child does and praise my Maker. I thank you all. To you, my good Lord Mayor, and you, good brethren, I am much beholding. I have received much honor by your presence, and you shall find me thankful. Lead the way, lords. You must all see the Queen, and she must thank you. She will be sick else. This day no man think his business at his house, for all shall stay. This little one shall make it holiday.
They exit. Enter. Epilogue.
'Tis 10 to 1 this play can never please all that are here. Some come to take their ease, and sleep an act or two, but those we fear we have frighted with our trumpets. So 'tis clear. They'll say 'tis not. Others to hear the city abused extremely, and to cry, "That's witty," which we have not done neither. That I fear all the expected good we're like to hear. For this play at this time is only in the merciful construction of good women. For such a one we showed 'em, if they smile, and say 'twill do, I know within the while all the best men are ours, for 'tis ill hap if they hold when their ladies bid 'em clap.
And
End of play.